big sacrifice for people that are facilitating this event to be available at this time. So I really want to say thank you so much for them, and also our facilitator from the United Kingdom, who is also in the meeting. So I want to say thank you to her. So, Mr. Beniza, are you connected now? Okay, so let me continue. So the process, what we are here for today is a graduate application in the US. I actually intentionally say that US because, should I show my video? Okay, so let me show my video. So for those people that have not seen me before, this is the small boy that is talking under the screen. And so I intentionally say that the US because we know that US is kind of generous in terms of financial things, like it's better in graduate school. So we know that US is kind of generous. So that is why I focus on US. So Canada, Australia, UK too is great. So today we're going to talk about the process, the broken down of the process, what it takes for you to apply to the US, and how you got to apply. And the reason I'm doing this is because of people to get the full knowledge of that. So let's kickstart. So before I start, don't forget that Jesus loves you, and without him, all the efforts, it's without purpose. I pray that the Lord will help us. So what is PSA? PSA is postgraduate study abroad. We are non-professional. We foster on sorry, I want to admit someone. We foster on directional support to graduates, brilliant graduates in Nigeria and other developing countries, and in pursuit of their desires to graduate education in developed countries. So I specifically developed countries, and we started 2019, that is 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years. So with fewer pioneer members, and most of our people, mentees are doing their studies abroad in the US, in Canada, in UK, and some got some scholarship like Pan-African scholarship, different places. So we aim at spurring potential scholars to achieve their goals of advanced education at no cost. I don't charge, and it's kind of a way to give back to the community. And even our facilitators here, they didn't charge me. They don't charge me. They are doing it out from their depth, their well of generosity, right? They're doing it because they love people, they want to contribute to people, and they even sacrifice their time. This is so early for us here. So our strategy is we turn mentees to mentors. People that we mentored, they become a mentor. So because that is the chain, the kind of polymerase chain reaction, in biology, SPCR, right? Because you cannot do it all alone. Yeah, so that is our strategy. So our facilitator today, this morning, are 4 great people. You see, they are here. So we have Ms. Judith Idumedi, but she called her name Dubi. She's so strong. She's an iron lady. So she's very brilliant. I respect her intellectual capacity, and she's first studied, before I talk about that. So Ms. Judith, Mr. Elisha, that is the man, the bookman. That man is so great. He is HPLC expert. Mr. Raphael, this man is spiritually and academically strong. When you combine 2 of them together, you feel relaxed because God is in control. And me, my little self, Kyle, they are there. So these are our facilitators, and I believe that through God, we are going to impact lives, and we are going to make it to see why you should come to the US to study how it takes, right? So let's start from Miss Judith. She's going to tell us stuffs. But let me first introduce her. She first did her master's in the UK with this Commonwealth scholarship. I don't know which scholarship, because she has a lot of scholarship. I don't even know which scholarship she went to now. So So after her master's in the UK, maybe she will tell me more, she will tell us more details about this, because then she's doing her PhD in the US right now. So with different conferences everywhere, she's a mathematics guru. She likes mathematics. She sleeps with mathematics. She wakes up with mathematics. And guess what? She's from University of Nsukka. She's a graduate from Nsukka, from Nigeria. So if you are from Nsukka in this place, from anywhere, just be inspired that from Nigeria, you can move to every places you like, right? She's going to talk to us about recommendation letters and cold email. Very important key aspect of graduate school. So the floor is open for her. Thank you. Ms. Judith. Ms. Judith, please, let's hear from you. Okay, so okay. Yeah, let's move to the next person so that when she comes back, we can, so I will not waste our time, I'll take our time. So I'm sorry for that. She will come back. She's still online. She's on the meeting. I don't know if she's so let's move to the next person. Yeah. Are you back?
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Thank God she's here.
Okay, please, what do I need to do? Sorry.
Yeah, you talk about recognition letters, cold emails.
Okay, am I supposed to talk about it now?
Yeah. Talk about yourself a little bit. Just
yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So, me Chidumebi Judith. I'm a assistant lecturer at the Alex Ekwueme Federal University in Nigeria. I'm Commonwealth scholar. At the time I did my master's here in the UK, a PhD student at the University of Southern Mississippi, and also a PhD student at the University of Toronto, and also a mathematical modeler and part of the Oncosurveillance project team sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with the Federal Ministry of Health Nigeria. So I'm here going to talk about a lot of opportunities. For me, I always tell anyone I know that I'm not a party of self-sponsorship to study abroad, because we believe that we have a lot of opportunities that we can explore in the world. The best thing is, how do you apply your knowledge to getting these skills? And everyone is equal to getting these skills. Okay, I believe maybe someone else has talked about important materials or documents we need for grad school applications. And the two I'm going to talk about now, they are very, very important. When you talk about your transcript, your SAT, the standardized test, which I believe it can be waived at the moment, is not really a necessity, even though it's a requirement. For me, my master's here in the UK, my PhD in the US and Canada, I never wrote any standardized test, not even the GRE or the English test. But I'm not really asking anyone not to write that, but you can to increase your chances. Recommendation letter is part of a requirement for application. Is very important. It's a vital document. And you need to know who is going to provide you with this letter. You need to be sure the person is able to write something meaningful about you. and the person is going to talk about your academic achievement, your research experience, your ability to completing a task, supervised and unsupervised. And the person is going to write something that is not less than a page, you know, because you're competing with the whole world. Like I will always say, our Nigerian professors, with the situation of our country, no one likes to be stressed, and they will always end up writing, please accord that unnecessary assistance without even talking much about you. This is not how recommendation letter works. When you look about over samples of recommendation letters, when you get that of Pakistanians, you see where they write a lot. A professor can write 2 pages for his or her student. They prepare for this earlier. And that is why a lot of them have a lot of scholarships on their table. So I will always advise, be sure who is writing your recommendation letter for you. Be sure the person is able and willing to write a lot of things. But how do you get this recommendation letter? I am a lecturer in Nigeria. My student cannot wake up one morning and call me on phone and be like, please, ma, can you write a recommendation letter for me? You are not paying me for this. So you have to work for it. You have to initiate a very good relationship between yourself and the professor who you will be requiring a recommendation letter from. If you don't do this, it will be a problem for you getting a very concise and strong recommendation letter, because your recommendation letter has its own points for your admission. It's one of the most important things, because you need someone to attest that you are a very good candidate for that position. And that must be someone that have taught you previously, someone that have supervised you in the past. Because if you're going for a PhD, what they are looking out for is your research experience. Can this person really carry out a research? Can this person do that supervised and non-supervised? Can this person, is there anyone that can talk about this person's academic competence? So you need your supervisor, whether your undergraduate supervisor, your master degree supervisor, to write you a recommendation letter. It is very important, because this person will be talking about your research experience. This person will be able to talk about how you carried out your research. The person can be able, as a professor, talk well about your research methodology. So it's always important you get your supervisor to do that for you. It will increase your chances of getting in. And you need professors as well. It's a very good one, but it's not a must, but you need that if you're going for a PhD. At least if you have one professor writing your recommendation letter, 1 or 2 will be good. Then a doctor is okay. And it's not advisable, if you're going for a PhD, you get a doctoral student in the US to write the recommendation letter. You might be lucky. One thing about scholarship is all about being lucky. You might be lucky to get in, but you have to be sure that you're doing something that is worth doing, something that will increase your chances of getting in. And I will always recommend, if you can get a professor, it mustn't be from the same school where you attended. You can get professors from other schools that knew you too well. Probably they are in the same field with you, that can write something for you. And if you can get a way to get them to allow you to write wherever you want to be in the recommendation letter, it will be a good thing. Okay, for me, I only had my master's program in the UK for just 1 year. You can imagine 1 year is just a little time for a professor to know me. Most of these professors taught me just for 3 months. My supervisor had an encounter with me just for 3 months. How were they able to write my recommendation letters till today? And they are still writing for me, because I'm very crazy when it comes to opportunity. Any opportunity I see, be it academics, or be it conference, or be it volunteer organization stuff, be it United Nations event, I always apply for it. There is no harm in trying things out. You don't know the kind of profile you're getting from there. You need all these to boost your profile. So what I did was to share with them my SOP and my CV, for them to better understand who I am, what I've done in the past, and what I'm looking at getting from the program I'm applying for. I know it's very difficult for Nigerian professors to sit down to read your CV and look at your personal statement. but it's always good to let them know that this is very important. This is why I need you to look at this. I can draft a thing for you to look at it. If it's okay by you, you can do it. So all that matters is the relationship you create with these professors. And that is why I always advise anyone that comes to me, every first of every month, try to send this person Happy New Month. Try to initiate that strong relationship with the person. Phone, I don't know how much SMS now cost in Nigeria, but I believe it's still like 4 naira or 10 naira. It won't cost you anything to win this person's heart and get the person doing things for you. And for a recommendation letter, some school will ask you for 2, 3 letters. I will always advise you have a backup. Have like 5 professors to write your recommendation letter for you. Sorry, when I talk about professor, it's not professor like we know in Nigeria. Professor can be a lecturer, anyone that is teaching in the higher institution. So it might be a doctor, a professor, you know. So make sure you get a backup so it will be easy for you. If anyone is disappointing, you can easily swap to another person to do that for you. So coming to cold email, for cold email, we I believe for recommendation letter, Kayode will help us drop a draft of a recommendation letter, and I can still look out for a draft and share with Kayode as well. I know I do have a draft. One of my foreign lecturers wrote for me at a time when I was still doing my master's program. The recommendation letter was a page and a half. I was really marveled the way she wrote everything, both my past, my undergraduate, my everything I have done in the past on that recommendation letter, even when she had no personal encounter with me at that time. But when you read the recommendation letter, you know that this person is really talking in a way that she knew me too well, and she have been with me all through the process. Coming to cold email is very important. Whether the school says you need a supervisor or you don't need a supervisor. Before I'll talk about cold email, let me use a very simple illustration to explain why you need to write a cold email to a supervisor. If you own a car and someone drops an advert on a WhatsApp page that I know how to repair a car, I know how to fix some parts in a car, and a friend of you comes with, oh, I have a mechanic B that I've tested. This guy repaired my car for me and he's awesome. And I've had a conversation with this guy. I have seen his work. I have heard him do things and the way he speaks. And he's a very sincere person. Who do you think you will ask to repair your car for you? The one you just saw his advert, or the one you just read about or saw his advert, or the one you have spoken to, seen testimonies, hear people saying that, oh, I have had an encounter with this person? We all know the answer. I won't wait for anyone to answer that. We all know the answer, that it will definitely be the one you have had encounter or had someone that have had an encounter with the person, because this is tested and trusted. So that means everyone will go for it. So you could imagine that if you wrote a cold email to a supervisor, and fortunately, the supervisor is part of the admission committee. We all know how admission works in Nigeria. It's still the same thing here. They will always sit over your document to know who and who they are bringing into the program. And you've written a cold email to a supervisor. The supervisor had already invited you for an interview, and you've spoken to this supervisor, and she's happy with you, and she's very much happy and willing to supervise you. And do you think that during the admission committee process, that candidate A, who never had any encounter with any professor in the school, and candidate B, who have had an encounter, maybe through email, personal email, CV attachment, or interview process, don't you feel that the candidate B stands a very good chance? Because if the professor is among the admission committee, he will always tell them, oh, I am okay with this guy, I've spoke to this guy, but the other guy, we have not heard about him. Maybe he's very good when it comes to writing, but we don't know his competency. But I have interviewed this guy and he's able to defend himself. Definitely, they will give it to someone they have heard from, someone that have had an interview with them. So you see why I will always say that cold email is very, very important. You wouldn't know where your blessing will come from. And coming to your cold email is a very simple email. This is where you have to sell yourself, narrow your experience down to the supervisor's research. There is a mistake most of us make. I don't want to discourage people. Maybe you did something like, I did mathematics, yes. And currently, I'll be working on health policy management and evaluation with the Unity Health Hospital in Toronto. But how did this happen? I can't justify what mathematics is doing in public health, but my experience in public health will help me to justify what I will be using mathematics to do in public health. So if you have a background in linguistics and you want to do medicine, my dear, do you have a story you can tell? How can you bridge the gap between arts and sciences? This is the mistake many people make, and they will go ahead and submit their form for admission. You see, that will be a problem. But if you have work experience or research experience in health line, and you want to switch from linguistic, it's always advisable get a supervisor who will have an encounter with you and understand where you're coming from, the experience you have acquired, what you are bringing into the table. It will be easier for you. And this supervisor will stand out for you to get you that departmental funding or the university funding. You need that because he herself cannot fund you, because every of our research grants goes to the department and the university. So she will stand out for you to come in because she have interviewed you. But what am I saying here? Best for you, if you have linguistic experience, why don't you come to the United States, come to UK, come to Canada, anywhere you want to go to, using that linguistic experience. When you now come to the place, you will now understand your environment and try to switch to wherever you want to switch to. This is for people wanting to switch. It will be easier for you to defend yourself, because cold email, you need to defend how your experience is aligning with the supervisor's experience. If you can't do that very well, you will end up not getting a feedback from the supervisor, or you end up getting a feedback like, I am currently not accepting students at the moment, or you end up getting a feedback like, just apply, or you end up getting a feedback with advertisement on how to do application in their school. So you have to be very diplomatic in wherever you write into your supervisor. Try to read about that supervisor very well. Read the supervisor's work. We call little things, we call big things little things in Nigeria. But these white people, they take every little step they make as a big step. So even if you're cleaning in a hospital, you are part of public health in that hospital. Make it a very big experience. You are not lying. They will always say that is this program I used to watch that time back in Nigeria. They call it Pimp Your Ride. Someone can get a 504 car and they will paint it different colors, design it. It will be a Pimp Your Ride. When you are going on the street, people will be admiring the car because of all the 7 colors that have been painted on the car. So pimp that your experience to be like something like huge, but this is what I'm doing. Oh, like the story we used to hear when I started my scholarship application in 2019, and definitely that was the very first year I got my scholarship. Someone changed the bulb. How do you write this? You can't come and say, oh, I bought a bulb, I removed the old one, I plugged it in. It's an initiative that will let someone to know that, this bulb is faulty. So this bulb is dead. So I need to buy a new one to change it. It's just an initiative. So you thinking out, oh, there is darkness here, this bulb is not good again, the electrode, the anode, the cathode is not functioning well again. These are the terms that will be going through your essay or your cold email. You always learn to use your discipline terms. Don't just come and use a general English because the person reading your work is from your discipline. So this code email is very important. Read about the professor, understand the professor's work, then try to use the term in that discipline to explain all your experiences, both your research, focus more on your research. So how does code email? I'm going to give a short rundown about code email. No one is asking you to write a 10 paper for a professor. If the mail is long, the professor will get tired. Always make your first paragraph to be very interesting, that one will be eager to read more. So the first paragraph, what works for me might not work for Mr. B, but I will give my own idea. I will also share a draft with Mr. Kayode, and he will drop in the group as well. And this draft I will share, I've used it to get supervisors from the US, from Canada, and from other countries. Yeah. I've used that sample to get these professors. And I'm also willing to share my SOP as well that I've used in public health, coming from mathematical modeling of infectious disease background. So he can share with you guys. So what am I trying to say about code email? First of all, start with introducing yourself, who you are, what you've done in the past, your studies, you studied in social school, this is who you are. I don't know if I'm able to share my screen.
Yes. You can share your screen.
Okay. 2 minutes, guys, so I can share my screen.
So guys, there's a poll going on the group, on this Zoom. I would like to take some time. Just click poll, you see the questions there.
Okay. Kayode, I'm not able to see share screen here.
Make it ghost.
Okay, yeah, I can see that now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. So can you see my screen?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So I started with telling the professor that I've gone through. It was just very simple, and I used this to get a lot of professors from Canada and from the US. And so I went straight to tell her that I've gone through her research portfolio from University of Toronto website, and I'm writing to declare my interest in undertaking my PhD under her supervision. And I'm interested in mathematical modeling of infectious diseases like malaria, COVID-19, tuberculosis, epidemiology, and mathematical biology. And I told her, this is me. I had my bachelor's degree in mathematics education. You see, can you see the transition in my academics never stopped me from getting where I'm going to, but all my experiences matters a lot. I took Coursera courses, online courses on infectious disease and epidemiology. Those are on my CV. And my experience were all channeled to infectious diseases. So from here, the gap between my academic, the transition is no longer much for any professor to tell me no. Just forget about me having first class. See, one thing about the white people, your class of degree does not really matter to them. What matters to them is your skills, the skill you are bringing into the table. Is in Nigeria that when you have a first class, you are the Lord of Lords? No. But here, once you have the skill, you are the genius they know. Everyone will be around you. So forget about she made a first class. No, forget about that. So I told her, this is me. I have bachelor's degree in mathematics education from the University of Nigeria and Nsukka with a CGPA of 4.66 over 5.0. I did my master's under the Commonwealth Master Scholarship at Watt University, United Kingdom, where I studied applied mathematical sciences, climate change modeling. And my thesis was on differential equations. I didn't really talk much about my undergraduate because my undergraduate had no effect on the PhD program I'm going to. But my master's had a significant effect on the PhD I'm going for because my master's dissertation was on COVID-19. And that is modeling of infectious diseases. So I have a good background on use of Python, MATLAB in model simulations. These are the skills that are needed on mathematical modeling, for mathematical modeling. So I did mention the skills I have already because this is what I'm bringing into the table. And I went ahead to explain where I have applied these skills previously. So during my dissertation, I was able to use these tools to simulate my models and carry out model fitting with real data, as well as the parameter optimization using least square and chi-square methods. I would love to know more about your availability to supervise me. My CV is attached for your kind consideration. And let me tell you one thing, you don't have to lose hope. If you can wake up every morning to send 5 cold emails to 5 different professors to 5 different schools, believe me, one of them is going to call in. Because once you do this every day, 7 days in a week, 7 times 5 is 35. So you have sent email to 35 professors in 35 different schools. There is no how one of them will not get back to you. This email, I sent this email on the 16th of September, 2022. I was still doing my in the US then. I was fully a PhD student in the US then. It took this lady 1 whole month to reply my mail, 1 whole month. And she replied with apology for not getting back. She told me about her department, told me where she can supervise me, asked for a Zoom meeting. I had this Zoom meeting for 1 hour. I was explaining my skills to her. So you have to be very prepared to talk about your skills because that is what they are looking at. Your class of degree has nothing to do in research. It's your skill, the kind of research you do, the kind of things you're going to do in her lab is what that matters to her and not your first class, your distinction or wherever. And yeah, from this code email, depending on the kind of interview you have with your supervisor, you will be able to get a supervisor who is going to pay your app fee. Yeah. At the end of my meeting with this, my supervisor, she paid my app fee to the 3 programs I applied to under her. I didn't ask for that, but during the meeting, we had a discussion. I told her, oh, I don't really know about app fee, but I will try to fund that. She told me, don't worry, we are using our research grant to fund your application fees. Because she was very impressed with the interview we had. So this is about code email. I'm also going to send a draft of code email again, another version to Mr. Kayode to share with you guys. And I will please beg everyone, this is the right time to start sending code email to supervisor because admission application in the US, in Canada, wherever starts August. So it will be very nice if any of you is going to send code emails to supervisors. Now start looking for supervisor, start sending your code emails to them. Let's see how many of them is going to get back to you. Even if the school said you don't need a supervisor yet, please do send a code email. It has a very significant impact in who gets into the program. Just send. It costs nothing to send the code email. The only thing it will cost you is data. Use that data for WhatsApp to send out your code email. Use that your time to type out this message to your professor and get your supervisor, the professor to book an interview section with you. Kill it there, say yourself, talk about your experience, kill it. The person will fall in love with you and will never leave your side. I'm being sincere. And I think I'm rounding up. I don't have much to say. Kayode told me about this meeting very late. Assuming he told me earlier, I would have made a very good presentation, maybe a slide that I can share with all these samples and all, wherever I have, even CV or wherever. But at the moment, I'm open to get feedback. If Kayode adds me to the group, I'm ready to come in and give my own my own feedback to you guys and my own resources as well, advice, wherever. And for those who want to apply for Commonwealth Scholarship this year for Masters, I'm open to review your essays. I'm open to talk more about Commonwealth Scholarship and wherever you guys want me to do. Thank you so much. And I wish you guys well. We keep winning. We need more Nigerians abroad. We need ourselves to get more equipped and develop our nation. Thank you, guys.
Wow, I'm so happy. Thanks so much, Ms. Judith, for that wonderful presentation and for your voluntary statement that says that you want to join us in the group. Cool, I'm so happy. Yeah, I hand over to Mr. Ebenezer to continue the moderation. So, yep.
Hello? Hello? Please, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Can you hear me very well?
Yeah.
Can you hear me very well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayode. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayode. Thank you everyone for having me. I'm sorry. First of all, I'd like to apologize for coming late. It's raining every day here in Lagos, and then you know our network is not as good as those of you in the US. So I want to really apologize. So as a moderator, I'll be calling very quickly. Then thank you. I want to appreciate Mrs. Judith for impactful teaching. That was very, very impactful. She spoke about the importance of code emailing and the importance of packaging your statement of purpose to attract more professors. Let's just say in Nigeria, we say more clients. You know, she really did well. I really appreciate you, madam, for such an impactful contribution. Hello, is anyone hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll be calling, without further ado, I'll be calling on Mr. Elisha to speak on, to have his own part of the day. Mr. Elisha is a graduate student in the Western Kentucky University and another of Uniben. He's going to be talking about CV writing and statement of purpose writing. We're going to know how to package your CV and how to package your statement of purpose. Mr. Elisha, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm on the call. How are you doing? Good morning and good afternoon. Yeah, depending on where you are. Thank you very much, Judith. That was a very all-encompassing teaching or study of or information on writing of code emails and basically selling yourself. So the main point of our application is your ability to sell yourself. That's the entire in a nutshell. And each of the documents or things that you need to submit or you need to send across to schools for selling yourself, from your CV to your code emails, to your recommendation letters, to your statement of purpose. They're all to sell yourself. Just sell yourself in a good light and in an appropriate way for your respective application or interest. So I'll be taking us through writing your CV or details that you need to put in your CV, and also like a skeletal framework of what your SOP should carry or what an SOP is. SOP is just short for statement of purpose. So when you hear me say SOP, you know I'm talking of statement of purpose. Okay, so for our CV writing, you know, since we are applying to an academic program, you are not just going to submit a resume, you are going to submit an academic CV, and an academic CV is broader. You get, is broader. It means it's more all-encompassing. It covers all your educational background, covers all your academic achievements, all your research experiences. If you have publications, it could have your publications. If you have conferences you've attended, or you belong to certain organizations, or that is just relevant. It's all encompassing, just everything about you will be in your academic CV as it's relevant to what you are applying for. So first of all, we all know what CV is. I don't need to start defining what a CV is. So the first information, or basic first information you need to have on your CV is your personal details. When we say your personal details, we're talking of your full name and your contact information, or any other relevant details. All right, some details are not relevant, like you don't need to put your nationality sometimes, you don't need to put your age, most times you don't need to put your age, just put your full name, your contact information, that's phone number and email address. Then also the next thing you need to have on your CV, your academic CV, is your education. Your education, starting from your most recent education, meaning starting from your present to your past. When I say present to your past, meaning if your last level of education was last year, you start with last year before you start going years back, years behind. All right, so that's, and why is it this way? It's this way because you want them to see you for you now. This is where you are now, not where you were before. So them looking at where you were before is more like, okay, let's just see other things that he has alongside. All right. For example, I don't know, I would like to, let me see if I can share my screen, because I quickly created, can I share my screen on the Zoom? I'm sorry.
Let me make you the one of the co-hosts.
Okay.
Yes, you can share your screen now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Let's see Zoom again. Zoom has disappeared.
Yeah. Up or now?
My screen is freezing. Anyway.
Okay, just press escape key if it will resolve it.
I don't know why these things sharing. Let me just share. I'm sorry.
No problem, just take your time. Cool, it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Is there?
Okay, I don't know. All right. So I had mentioned our education, how you should list them, start from your most recent achievements, followed by the later ones. The same thing for your, if you had any awards, any certifications, you belong to any organizations, do you get? So there's also an example here that I put. I don't know. Okay, so I put an example so that we can just have a few. I can send this to Kayode after this. So this example is having a case study or case scenario of a Nigerian graduate that is in the IT space and wants to apply for a graduate program, specifically, let's say a PhD program. He already has a bachelor's and a master's degree, okay, from another country in Ghana. That's just the case study. So, and one thing you should know about your CV is it should be very, very straightforward. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It shouldn't cause confusion. You don't want to sell confusion in any way. All right. Another thing you want to add in your CV is your research experience, because most graduate programs, you are going to do some form of research. You know, especially if you are coming for a PhD, you are going to do a whole lot of research. For a master's, yeah, sometimes it's thesis based, sometimes it's not thesis based. But when it's thesis based, you know, research is going to be a very, very key factor. A very, very key factor in your decision making for that's when you speak to an advisor or a prospective advisor or supervisor. If you have a research experience that is interested in, that would think, okay, that he thinks would be beneficial to his research, to whatever research is working on at the moment, then it's a good way to also still gain points. All right. Yeah, this example, okay, this is another research assistant from a university in Nigeria, listing the things he has done as a research assistant. You also want to put them in your CV, because your CV, academic CV, should be as detailed as possible, so that you are actually selling yourself almost completely without even them meeting you personally. All right. Here, the person put, he has assisted in developing Novel, that's a new machine learning algorithm. He has also presented some new findings in different national conferences. So you are trying to just continue selling yourself from every corner, every little thing that you have done that you may think, as the former speaker said, you may think these things are little. Yeah, call them little. We have found calling many things little in Nigeria. But here it's for these white people, it's very, very, very tangible. Very tangible. Another thing, if you have publications, that also puts you in another good light. Publications and presentations. That I don't say presentations like you have delivered speech in different places or seminars that you feel, yeah, you can use it as a selling point. Even if you don't feel it's okay, but as long as it's related to what you are going for, just put it. Nobody knows how small that your presentation was. All right. Nobody knows how small it was. Nobody knows how big it was. Just put it was a presentation, you know, it was a seminar. You know what I mean? You are selling yourself like that. Nobody's going to tell you how many people were there, how many people did you present to? No. Okay. Yeah, this is just an example. Let's say this one presented something at a particular conference somewhere in Nigeria. Then if you have awards, honors, yeah, once you have been given an award, no matter how little you think it is, as long as you have evidence that you are given this award, put everything, every positive thing about yourself, everything. It should just be in your academic CV. Your academic CV is not restricted to 1 page or 2 pages like resume. There's no restriction. You know, as your portfolio is increasing, just keep adding everything. All right. Then if you have skills that are important, relevant, even if you think they are not even so important, if maybe you have this skill, maybe you enjoy some sporting activities, you need to also put them in your academic CV, because here they're not just looking at your you're just being book smart. All right. What other things can you do? They're also looking at your extracurricular activities, what you do for fun. They see that, okay, this person actually has a work-life balance. This person knows how to channel his energies to different other things. These are also things that are considered. So don't say, okay, because in academic CV, you not throw away anything that you just do for fun, or no. Everyone knows you're not robots. We all know nobody's a robot. All right. So you need to keep these things. Just show that you are human. All right. You don't want you to look like it's one AI that did this CV for you. All right. Yeah. In addition to skills, mention skills that you have that will benefit the research you are applying to, that will benefit not even just the research, but the program as a whole, that will that'll make them feel like, okay, this person is going to be a good investment for us. It's not going to be a waste of time, because even the admission board or admission committee are also skeptical about the student to take or not, because they can also take some students and they will regret taking some students. It happens. As you are like praying that you get a good advisor, or an advisor that is not going to be harsh or make you feel unwanted, they are also scared to take students that will give them problem. And once they see that the student is not speaking well enough, or is not selling himself well enough, they already start thinking, will this person bring problem? Will this person be a problem? And once they're thinking like that, that's not a good one. So that's also another place where you're researching the advisor you think you want to work with comes to play. Another thing you need to add in your academic CV is any professional memberships. Any professional membership. If you're a chemist, maybe you're in the American Chemical Society. If you are in IT, maybe an Association of Computing Machinery. If you are in engineering, any of the engineering bodies that you belong to. Sometimes you just need to belong to them because of reasons like this. For bodies I belong to, it's not as if I don't have what to do. But I know, to sell myself in some application in some places, I need to belong to some bodies. I mean, even if nobody knows me in the body, as long as I'm a registered member, I'm there. I'm there. So when I'm applying for things, I say, I'm a member of this organization, I'm a member of this, I'm a member of this and that. All right, all those things are part of what is like lifting you, giving you points. Because for instance, you are engaged for an interview, you say, okay, let's speak. I say, okay, let's meet you. You won't just saying your name and you graduated from this with so GP is very plain. It's very plain and basic. But when you now start adding things like, okay, I belong to so body, I belong to so organization, I'm certified for this, I've presented in so conference, I'm a this scholar, I'm a this grant awardee. So those things are, how do I put it? They are elevating you more. Do you understand? Then your work experience, if your work experience is applicable to your research area, for instance, if I use someone in chemistry, okay, let me say I'm in chemistry. If I had worked in Nigeria as a lab scientist, or let me say as a lab scientist, or I've worked in a factory whereby we use some modern instrumentations. I mean, it's something I will really put in my academic CV, because I know coming to the US is going to put me at a very good spotlight, because when I'm speaking with different peers, I say, okay, I know how to use this instrument. I know how to use this instrument. I've used this for 2 years. I've used this for 3 years. And that's only applicable to people that have worked, some of us can be fresh graduates, might not have had those experiences. But if you have them, by all means, please put them. Even if you are not very good at it, as long as you can say 2, 3, 4, 5 things about the usage, just put it. Nobody's going to ask you for the in-depth things just in your interview. Nobody's going to ask you for in-depth knowledge. Even when you still come here, then even though they know, yes, you have some experience about this, they'll still teach you again. Because they are not also sure if this is this exact same instrument that you used, or another brand which is quite different. So, but you saying, you've done this, you know this, gives you a good edge. So that is where I'll stop for your CV. So you can make adjustments to your CV. I think Kado will also still share samples of CVs that cover all necessary things. So if some things here do not apply to you, like in your CV writing, don't feel intimidated. Don't feel, I don't have so many conferences. I don't have this, I don't have that. No, just compile it together. Like we said, most of these things it's an holistic approach. All right, it's an holistic approach. It's not just don't just use your CV. They'll also look at your SOP. They'll also look at the code mail. They'll also look at the rapport you have built with one or two of the faculties in the school, even though you are not yet even in the US. You get it? So everything put together is what you score points through. Okay. So briefly, we'll quickly look at writing a statement of purpose. What statement of purpose, as it implies, you are saying, let me put a simple statement of purpose. You are saying what you want to come and do. That is your statement of purpose. Like, what do you want to do? Say what you want to do, or say why you want to do this. So that's statement of purpose. All right. So statement of purpose usually have introduction, then you have what you want to do, how your interest came about, how you found out about this opportunity, you know, what drives you, all those kind of questions are what you answer in your statement of purpose. And one thing you need to know about statement of purpose is that you need to tailor it to whoever you're writing it to. You need to tailor it. Each statement of purpose is unique on its own. Yeah, even though you are the same person, and generally it's almost around the same thing, but depending on the lab you want to work with. And this also is also linked with the code email and discussion you have had with faculties in that school. All right. If you have spoken with somebody and you have said, okay, I want to do my research using a particular methodology, and you have found one or two professors in that school or in that department that are doing exactly what you want. Even if they're not doing exactly what you want, sometimes you cannot, after all, there are many things that we want that we don't even know yet. All right. So you see all the researches that are being done by this lab, and you are interested in that one. You go and research that. You go and research that research line, so that you can actually write enough and write well, like someone that understands what that research is about. Okay, so that when your advisor is reading it, he can resonate and feel like, wow, this person is my person. In me and this person can communicate. And once they can feel like that, once there's this little form of bonding from just your statement of purpose, you're already at a very, very advantageous position. You're already at a very, very advantageous position. So that's one of the main parts of your SOP, stating your why. Okay. Anyway, from here, I've talked about the introduction. Introduction is basically yourself, talking about yourself. Yeah, okay, I'm writing to express my strong interest in PhD program in so-so course at so-so university. And as a dedicated researcher, this is reading a dedicated researcher because, he has done a master's degree, and in his master's, he did some research. All right. So you can say that. But for you that have not done something like that, you cannot say as a dedicated researcher, because you gotta start getting ready to talk about what you have researched if you say something like that. All right, so you introduce yourself and bring your best foot forward. Start with your education background, start with things you have done, and then delve into what you want to do. All right, your background and research interest. Yeah, your research interest must be aligned with maybe 2 or 3 people that you have seen in that school or in that in that department. All right. So the statement of purpose, sometimes some people can send their statement of purpose to not just the admission office, but can send to the department or the lecturer or faculty. Here we call lecturer faculty too. All right. So when I say faculty, don't get confused whether I'm talking of faculties here are also lecturers. So many things we call lecturers here: faculty, lecturer, professor. Yeah. So when you've written your background, research interests, you now have to say how you fit with this program. Okay. Everything still boils down to you first researching the school, researching the faculty, researching the professors that you are eyeing, that you are like, let me look at this guy, let me look at this maths research, I like this maths research, or different thing, anything that even makes you just resonate with that research. Just keep talking about it. Mention the pros of the research, the advantage of the research, where you see yourself taking the research to, where you know where they are currently in that lab on that research. I mean, just know all you think you can know about it so that you can have enough to write and sell yourself. Okay. Then, yeah, your future goals. Your future goals is something that you have in long term. All right. Maybe if you're applying for a PhD is usually almost 4 to 5 years. So you need to state how it aligns to your 5-year goal. Okay, like most times upon completing my PhD, I envision contributing to development of so and so, or I envision taking a postdoctoral position and remaining in academia to impact the new upcoming generation of scientists. Just, you know, you need to also be creative by yourself, and there are also many samples. You don't need to just copy and paste, because plagiarism is also a thing. Plagiarism is a thing, especially with internet, with our AI. Once we just put it up, you can find that the person just copied it, just lifted something from here. All right, even though it's the same English, but it shouldn't be reading at 90% of everything that is here is just generated now. All right. Then you need to conclude. Yeah, conclusion is basically most times you end with you are thanking them, like, okay, for your, or you are anticipating their reply, anticipating that they give you the offer. You are showing your gratitude already, even though, yes, everything is not yet in place. Yeah, with the conclusion, I'm eager to immerse myself in a vibrant academic community, meaning you are referring to the school as an academic community, all right, that is vibrant. You are trying to also make them feel good, because you need to make your reader feel good. If you're writing a letter to me, you want to do something. For instance, I'm a faculty, I'm a lecturer, you want to get recommendation from. If you're writing to me, you need to, how do I put it in Nigerian English now? Tell me some things that will make my head swear, yeah, so that I'll be happy. You get, so that's part of everything, just normal, human communication and things and the rest. So with these, you have a very, very good structure of what your statement of purpose should be like. I'm not going to say, hey, it should be among this so number of words, or this is minimum of this, maximum of this. No, just write something that is well written, interesting. You can show some of your friends to go over it. You don't want to make mistakes. Okay, you don't want to make mistakes, especially when it's not as if you are sitting down on the spot and writing. You had enough time to go over what you wrote and send, because it says a lot. If you are sending things that have mistakes, it's saying that maybe your attention to details is faulty, and all these things count, all these things count, depending on who you're also sending it to. For some people you send it to, they don't mind, they won't even count it as anything. But for some people you send it to, they're like, this person is not a serious person, or this person is this person is that. So, but to be on the safe side, just be as perfect and almost spotless as possible. And with that, I think you are going to have at least an edge in your writing skill. I mean, I know when I came here and my professor was like, where did I learn English language? I don't know, for some reason they thought we don't speak English language in Nigeria. I'm like, English language is our first language, is our lingua franca. So everyone speaks English. We are taught English from kindergarten. I was like, oh yeah. And I was still surprised. I mean, and to date, it's still like, Elisha, I'm still surprised. It has been long I've had students who write English like this. Like sometimes I don't know what to do or how to even express myself, because once you tell me, I don't know, should I smile? Should I should I just nod? But I don't know. I just smile somehow and just go down. Yeah. And with this, I don't know. There might be, if you have questions, I don't know if you have time for questions. I don't know. But
Yeah. Questions.
if you have questions.
I also have questions for you, Mr. Elisha. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wait, it's not.
Elisha, first of all,
Hey, please, it's not time for question. When the time comes,
Okay. So
just wait.
yeah, so with this, this will be the end for my session. I don't know. I think we still have 2 other people to come and talk to us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was very educational.
Yeah. Okay.
hello. Thanks so much, Mr. Elisha. I really appreciate the fact that you broke the process down into pieces and then you took your time to explain all of that. Thank you so much, Mr. Elijah.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, Mr. Elisha?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. Oba, top there, man.
Yeah.
Ashiri, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So without wasting much time, let me call on the next speaker. Next speaker happens to be Mr. Raphael Adesunyo, a PhD student at the University of Kent. And hello? And I from the Department of Health Promotion and Alumni of University of Ibadan. He will be speaking on keeping track of Thing 4 deadline required expenses. So, Mr. Raphael, are you good to go?
Yes. Okay.
All right, Mr. Raphael, you're home. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator, and thank you, Mr. Kayode, for having me.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody, wherever you are. Good afternoon to you as well. My name is Raphael. I'm a doctoral student here at the University of Kentucky. I'm an alumni of the University of Ibadan. I just wanted to talk today about keeping track of everything that we've been learning since we started this program this morning. Judith has talked about cold emails and things you need to do on how to reach out to professors and how to establish relationships before you begin the application. And also, Mr. Elisha just talked about your CV, how you express yourself, Yeah, how do we ensure that we stay organized? How do we stay on top of things? Because one thing is that the application process is into different parts. There are different pieces to it. So how do you put all these things together? How do you stay organized and see and have a very good picture of what's going on with your application, what you want to do, how you're going to do everything. So we're going to be using some kind of a template on how to track all your application. As you might have known, you are free to apply to more than one school, in this process. It's not like, oh, you just apply to one school and then you just wait and, hear their decision. No, you can apply to more than one school. In fact, you can apply to multiple schools. So in applying to all these multiple schools, how do you stay organized? How do you keep track of things? How do you know what stage you are with each school? And at the end of the day, when you have responses from all these schools, you can now make your own decision. You still have your own decision to make as well on all these schools. Yes, these schools can give you admission at the end of the day, but if you have more than one admission, you will still be the one to sit down and make that final decision. So there's still a lot for you to do, even though the universities are going to be assessing your applications and all. You will still decide if you want to take up the admission they give you or not. So it's in that process that we're going to look at how you're going to keep track of all your graduate school application process. And one way to do this is using a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet, you're going to break down everything. I'm going to show you in a bit. So you're going to break down everything. So you'll be able to know the status of all your applications. And, just like we have Word document, Microsoft Office has a lot of tools that can help us to stay organized. One of the tools is what Mr. Kayode here is sharing, PowerPoint. We all use PowerPoint for presentations. You can use it for presentation and do things like that. Mr. Elisha also just shared with us an example of a CV using the Word document. And now we're going to be using a spreadsheet to like kind of organize everything we're doing, and stay on top of things. So before I go into that, most schools in the US, they have different dates, different due dates for application. So you have to be aware of this. So you'll be able to know when the application windows open and when they close. So you'll be able to keep track of everything. For example, if you want to if you want your professor to send a recommendation letter, you need to know the window so you can tell the professor, oh, please, I will need this between this time and this time. So, sometimes because our lecturers are very busy, they might say, oh, don't worry, I'll give you, maybe I'm traveling, I'll be back in the next 4 months, I'll give you when I come back. But they don't know that the window of the application is going to close. Or they may know, but because they are busy, so you need to stay on track and stay on top of things and let them know when you need these things. So for most schools in the US, averagely, international applicant for applying to the fall semester. So the fall semester, as you might have already known, is between August and December. August, December, that's the fall semester. So for the, we also have the spring semester. Spring semester is from January to May. And for the summer semester, usually from May to end of July or early August. So the due dates for applications for the fall semester is averagely around April 15. But that's not applicable to all schools. Some people applying to fall semesters, sometimes the due date might be December. Yes, so you need to be aware of this due dates, for applications. So some might be December, some might even be January, and most are also in February. So for spring semester, so if you want to start January to, if your program is starting from January to May, spring semester, most averagely the due dates for those applications are October 15. And for the summer semester is usually February 15. So you need to be aware of these dates, because the application doesn't open, all through like that. They have dates for this thing. So first and foremost, you need to be aware, okay, which semester am I applying to? When is the due date? Then you'll be able to put everything together. And next, in order to stay on top of things, I'm going to share a spreadsheet with you for you to see how you can organize everything. So let me see if I can do that right now. Okay. One moment, please. Mr. Kayode, I'm trying to share my screen.
Yeah, I've made you one of the codes. I think you should be able to share your screen now. Oh, let me try it.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can't, please let me know. Okay, so this is just a very good template for you to stay organized. I think it's been put together by Mr. Kayode, and this is very good. So just like I said, you can.
Sorry, Mr. Raphael.
You
Disclaimer.
can.
Mr. Raphael.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
I'm not the one that put it up. It's just one of the files I got from, I think Mr. Elisha sent it to me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elisha. This is very good. Okay. So just like I said, you can apply to multiple schools. I have seen people who apply to 15, and I know, maybe some people even apply to more than, because, it's not, you need to, this application process, you need to really put your heart to it. You need to give it your best, because sometimes it might look easy, but most times it doesn't really look easy. Like it's not easy to do. So in order to make it easy, you have to just stay organized. And when you stay organized, then, everything will just go smoothly. So I have different columns right here and different rows. I'm going to be explaining each of them by columns and rows. Okay. So for this first column now, school by rank. For example, you already have, there are over 4,000 schools in the US. 4,000, over 4,000 plus schools in the US. So you need to know your maybe top 10 that you want to apply to. Or if you have 15 or 20 that you want to apply to. These are your interests. These are the schools that offer the program you want to go for. You need to know exactly, and then you need to have them by rank. Now, for example, so the first one, you can see the first school there is, let's say, XYZ University. The deadline for that school, you have to know it. You go onto their website, you're going to go to the admissions page, applications process, and from there you're able to see the deadline for application. So you write that deadline down. Then the acceptance rate is another thing. It's very easy to do. You can just Google the name of the school. Once you put it on Google, all these bits of information that Google displays, you're going to see the acceptance rate of the school. So, so you just, write the acceptance rate down. Then if there are application fees, some schools, there might be no application fee. So you are going to write the amount of that application fee down there. If you have applied to the school and you have paid, you tick it. If the application is waived, you tick it. There are some schools that does this application waiver week. So you have to be in touch with them. You have to always find out when they are going to have their applications waiver. So you have to pay. Application waiver is just a way whereby you won't have to pay the application fee. So you will, the application fee will be waived, and then you apply for free. Then you have to know if the school if the program you are applying to accept GRE. Now, if they apply the GRE, if they are accepting GRE, you need to know the requirements. What's the score they are requiring? So you need to know. Maybe some people might have already taken the GRE, so you can compare. Okay, this is what I have. This is what they are requiring. So you'll be able to make a decision on that. And then if you have made the application, you have sent the application already, you are going to tick that one and say, okay, sent. Now, most of the schools, even all of the schools, have the GPA requirements. Some people say average grade point of 3, and then your own. Maybe your own is 4, or 5.0 or whatever. So you have to put that for the GPA as well. Now, for the prerequisites, you need to also know the prerequisites. For example, the acceptance rate, the course required, all those things, part of the requirement for application. So whatever notes you find out there, you put it in the prerequisites. Now, for the transcripts, you need to send your transcript. Now, one very important thing to note here is this. Some schools can accept your unofficial transcripts before, during the application. you can send the unofficial transcript, as part of your application. They will accept that. It is only after they have accepted you into the program, they will now ask you to send the official transcripts. They will give you a deadline to send that one after you have been accepted into the program. However, some schools require official transcripts to apply. This is one of the challenges I had, when I was applying. It was quite challenging because you have to pay a lot to get the official transcript sent to them. And that's the only thing they're going to do. And that doesn't even mean they are going to, give the student the, admission. So if the admission doesn't go through, after spending a lot of money. So you have to be aware, they will state it there if they are requiring unofficial transcript for the admission or official transcript. So you have to be, if they don't state it there, it's good you just reach out to the graduate coordinator of your program and ask them the status of the official transcript, of the transcript they are requiring. Now, work experience. This column is just talking about, sometimes in the application, they might say a relevant work experience or whatever. They will state some things there that, okay, look at Judith when she was talking about, she's a mathematician, and then she's also in the field of public health. Sometimes some programs, if your bachelor's or master's program is in the field, and if you have a work experience in another field, the work experience can be an advantage for you to get into that program, even if that's not exactly what you studied, but they may still be related, but sometimes work experience is also very, very important. Now, letters of recommendations. Now, I'm going to tie that into the deadline things and things like that. So you have to be aware of the letter of recommendation. That is what Judith has already talked about when she was talking about letters of recommendations. So you need to be aware of the number. Some schools require 3 for PhD and maybe 2 for masters or something like that. So you need to just be aware, or 3 for all applications. So you just need to know the number of applications. And one very good tip that Judy gave when she was talking was that she said, if they are going to require 3 letters of recommendations, you can, prepare for 5. You can be talking to 5 lecturers. So in case one of the lecturers say, oh, I forgot this, and you can't really force them, but you have to just hope that they will revert back to you when you request, from them. So you need to prepare for, above the number that the school is requiring. Now, so if you have sent that, those, maybe the letters of recommendation and all, you have to tick that as well. Now, you also have another column to say the notes. Let's see, it depends on, some lecturers might not be able to give you letters of recommendation for all the 10 schools you are applying to. And again, what I mean by that is sometimes some people apply to, different, it depends on the school. Maybe they're applying to they might have like, maybe they had chemistry, and they want to apply to maybe biochemistry one place, and they want to apply to maybe chemical sciences another place. So it depends. Some lecturers will not be able to give you 10 different letters of recommendations. So they might be able to give you for maybe 3 schools or 4 schools. So you must be able to make notes for, okay, which letters of recommendations, which professor will I need to help me with this application, because I'm applying to the same program in these 3 schools, and in the remaining 3 schools, I'm applying to another program, things like that. So you need to be aware of that. So statement of purpose. So your statement of purpose is also very important. You need to be sure that you have that in place, so once you have that, you need to have notes. And I'm sure you're already aware as well that your statement of purpose should be specifically aligned to what the schools require. If you are going to be applying to different schools, the schools will tell you exactly they will give you a structure, a format to follow. They can say, talk about your personal statement, talk about your experiences and things like that. So you need to make notes for each of the schools. For example, XYZ University, applications, SOP completed. However, I need to add this and date. For this second school, maybe ABC University, application SOP ongoing, because I need to add this and that. So, you know, the SOP is not just one SOP that you can send to all. And because, again, one very important thing to note for that SOP is that you need to make it personal for the school. Like, you know, it's not going to be generic. It shouldn't be a generic. For example, I'm applying to your school because of my experience in this and that. Okay, you cannot be saying I'm applying to your school. While it is correct to say that, it doesn't hold more power than somebody who say I'm applying to XYZ University. You know, these people will feel, they will know that, yeah, you are really mentioning their name. Just like in day-to-day relationship, if you are dealing with people and you say, hey, good morning, hey, come, hey, you know. But if you mention the person's name and say, hey, Bola, come, Bola, how are you? Just calling the person's name shows that, oh, you have me in mind, you know about me, you have information about me, so you are calling me. That means you really know about me. But once you just say, hey, what's your name? You know, that person says, oh, this man doesn't even know, he doesn't even remember my name. So that's the same thing when you're applying to those schools. You need to make reference to, you know, especially again, when you're writing the name of the school, you make sure the name of the school is correctly written. So you don't say University of New York when you're supposed to say New York State University. You know, don't just assume that, oh, the university is in New York. Just put anything. Just say New York Memorial University. You know, you wouldn't do that. So you just make sure you know the correct name of the school. Again, one thing that some people don't pay attention to is the name of the department they're applying to. So those things also you can also put them in your SOP. You make sure that the name of the department you're applying to is correctly written in the SOP. So those are some of the notes those are the things you're going to put in the note. If you are not sure about something, you need to make note of that. Then WS notes, like if you have WES or, you know, some schools require an organization to help you translate your transcripts, like WES, and we have other organizations as well. So you need to know if the school is requiring WES. So just like I said earlier, why some schools can accept our official transcript from Nigeria, because, you know, in Nigeria, we use GPA of 5.0. Some universities use 7, but in the US here, they use 4. So in order to convert that, some schools want you to go through some bodies to be able to, you know, translate your transcripts to them. So you need to know if the school is requiring WES or not, or if you're going to be taking it directly. So your resume and CV notes, just like Elisha has really talked about, you need to make a note of what you need to include. Maybe because you're applying to many schools, you need to make sure you customize each of the CVs to fit into exactly what you are applying for. And finally, you need to have that admission status. The admission status there, you know, you can write admitted or still awaiting response or things like that. So this way you can know where everything is hot. You can know the situation of things. And at the end of the day, hopefully, if you probably are going to be applying to 10 schools, you know, because you are, you know, you have done your background work very well, and you see 10 admitted, you know, 10 admitted, you then, the end of the day, you now sit down as the boss, you will now sit down to make a decision and say, okay, this university wants me, this university wants me, okay, which one am I going to take? In the past, I've seen some of my friends, what they do, and even I did that as well. You need to also put a column for funding. That is very important. You have to put a column for funding. For some master's program or even bachelor's program, you need to know the status of funding. Maybe it's 90% funding, 100% funding available, things like that. You need to know the situation of the funding. Then if funding is not available, you have to put it there, admitted, but no funding. If funding is available, you put it there. Then if you put the actual amount, that's another column. You put the actual amount of the funding. For example, one school is giving you $120,000 cost of attendance. Another school is giving you $80,000 cost of attendance. Another school is giving you $70,000 cost of attendance. So at the end of the day, when you sit down, you want to make your final decision, because all of them are going to give you offers and they're going to tell you, okay, make this decision and get back to us before so date. And then you make your decision. You consider things, maybe you look at, oh, this school, maybe the state is too cold. I don't like something that is too cold, or this place is too hot. Maybe the funding, oh, I'm going for the school with the highest funding. I don't care what happens there, even if it's, I'm going to go to the school with highest funding. So then you can make your decision. So that's exactly how you're going to stay organized and stay on top of things. Then finally, before I round up, I would like to talk about the cost of, the total cost of things that you need to consider. Like, if you want to apply, how much is it going to cost me? How much is it going to cost me? So this spreadsheet will help you. For example, if you look at the fee part, that column that says fee, if you see all the application fees, you have to do a sum. You have to use the sum function to calculate all the total amount of money you need to apply to all these schools. Maybe everything goes up to maybe $360. And then okay, I need to have $360 to apply to all the schools. Maybe you want to apply to 3 schools, and just to have maybe the application fee for 2 is maybe $70, $60, things like that. So you need to know the amount, the total amount of money you need to make those applications. That is 1. 2, if the school is requiring you to write GRE, most schools are waiving it. Some schools still require it. Some schools will tell you you should submit it if it is available, but it is optional. Just like our first speaker said, if you have it and you add it, it will boost your chances. So you need to know the amount of money you also need to write a GRE. For example, maybe 80,000 naira, 100,000 naira, this is the amount I need. And again, if the school is going to require WES, evaluation to evaluate your transcripts, you need to know the amounts. I think WES is about $220 or $200 right now. So you need to know the amount you need, to do that. Then again, if maybe the school doesn't require WES, or maybe the school requires you to send official transcripts when you're applying. So you need to know the amounts your school is charging for official transcripts. Maybe they are going to send it through DHL or any physical one. But again, I know some schools, you can send your official transcripts electronically. So, but the schools always charge for it. It's not like it's free like that, but they will charge for it as well. So you need to know the cost of all these things. And when you know the total amount, maybe everything now goes to like maybe $600, then you convert it and say, okay, you now decide if you have this money to spend on all this application. And if not, you need to, again, re-strategize and make a decision on what you want to do. So I think with that, I will round up. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, Mr. Coyote.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was so great presentation. I really, in fact, need to again. Yep. So, Mr. Ebenezer, over to you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Raphael, for taking us through the financial part, which is very, very important. Ushikuku, you need to know how much money we are going to be investing, because it's an investment. I see it's an investment, but a very solid investment for that one. So thank you so much for taking your time to go through all of this and breaking it down for us to understand it. So without wasting further time, I would like to call on Mr. Coyote himself, the convener of this meeting, the reason why we are all gathered. Thank
Sorry.
you so much.
Hi, there is Mr. Aduro-Dola Olamide. I'm sorry.
Mr. Aduro-Dola Olamide. So Mr. You didn't send me that slide, so I don't know his profile. So anyway, Mr. Aduro-Dola Olamide, no problem. There's no problem, but Mr. Aduro-Dola Olamide, you are highly welcome. I want to believe you're also in the US, and I want to believe you're also a PhD student or a senior scientist. So please come on board to tell us what you have to teach us. Thank you very much for your time.
So yeah, Mr. Olamide is a graduate student, and he just is a very awesome brother. He has the heart for people, and he's an alumni of Auburn University. He's in the Department of Biosystem Engineering. So I really, in fact, some of the time when I get confused, I used to go to him for questions. So he's going to talk to us about GRE, CGPA calculation, transcript evaluations, just in brief. Because the previous speaker has spoken a lot about TOEFL GRE. Yeah. So over to you, Mr. Olamide. Thank you.
It's nice to be here with everyone today. I believe other speakers have actually done justice to most of the topic I'm meant to talk about. But just a brief one. I will start with the CGPA calculation. Basically, we know in Nigeria we don't have a kind of a single CGPA a single CGPA, like compared to the one of US that they use 4.0. Excuse me. And they use 4.0, but in Nigeria we have some schools that use 5.0, 4.0, 7.0. So one of the best way to do that is for you to use WAIS evaluation. So WAIS has a way in which you can actually convert your CGPA to 4.0 grade. So you don't have to pay for that one actually. So it's just like once you just log into WAIS, you will see the evaluation. So click on the evaluation. Once you click on the evaluation, it will ask you to input all your courses that you've done and so on. You don't really have to input all the maybe you did MTH, you did physics. You don't have to input all those ones. You can just use something like A, B, C just to represent them, and so as not to waste your time in that regards. And what matters most is your CGPA, what your grade, and the what's it called? Your grade, the grade point of the course, assuming the course is 3.0 CGPA, 3.0, 3.0, 4.0. So you input those ones. And what you also have, you also input those ones. So they have something like maybe the grade points, like is your own grade points, over 100, or is it ABC or stuff like that? So you have all those ones there. So you will do that one. Once you are done with that, it's going to give you your normal CGPA. And I know someone has actually talked about the CV too. When you are inputting into your CV, what you can do is you write your your normal CGPA that you have. Like you have, let's say you have 4.5 or 5.0. So you still have that one, and you now put the WAIS evaluation calculation in terms of, okay, this one is 3.4 or 3.5 over 4.0. So you just put it there like that. So I believe that one should help. And for most of the schools, they will waive GRE. I know they've talked about that one initially. And one thing that you can do is that once you see it on their website, you don't really have to assume that, oh, you have to write GRE or stuff like that. So most of the time you can reach out to the graduate school. So once you reach out to the graduate school, most of them do hide, and they won't put it there that you won't have to write GRE, or the waive GRE, or the waive TOEFL or stuff like that. Like for me, when I was coming to the US, I didn't write any of the exams, so the waive GRE. But in terms of the English proficiency, nothing was said on the website. So what I just did was like, okay, I plan to write, I think they accepted Duolingo. Duolingo was relatively cheap compared to TOEFL and IELTS. So before writing that, I just reached out to the graduate school, and I asked them that, okay, I had my undergraduate in Nigeria, and I have my English, I have my undergraduate in Nigeria. Our first language is English. I was taught in English language. That do I have to write? Do I have to write the English proficiency test, or I can actually provide the certificate of English proficiency certificate for my school? And they responded that, okay, I can provide the English certificate for my school. So that one, once if you are still in school, you can get that as soon as you finish. But if you are done already, you can go back to your school. Like virtually all the school will give you English certificates of English proficiency. Like, okay, you had your undergraduate in English language, so they will give you that one. What's so surprising is that I'll probably be the first person to use that in the department, simply because when I submitted my application and the graduate school accepted it, so they forwarded it to the department, and the next thing, the graduate admission coordinator just reached out to me. I was like, I didn't write IELTS, and it's part of the requirements that they want to give me admission, blah, blah stuff. So I just referred them to the graduate school, and the rest was solved between them and the graduate school. When I came in, the man was like, you this boy, what research will you be working on and stuff like that. So it's so surprising to them because they don't really think like it's going to work like that. And after I came into the department, I know of like 4 to 5 Nigerians that have come in without writing GRE or TOEFL or stuff like that, majorly. But most of the schools, please note this, if your advisor is going to give you teaching assistantship, then you definitely need that, because for you to teach their kids here, they need to have that English proficiency certification that, okay, you can teach in English. But if your funding will be majorly on research, or it will be on research assistant or graduate assistantship, you won't have to teach any students, then you are free to go. You won't have to write all those ones. And some of the school, we have school that we call West schools. So you can also try to, if you don't have the money, because I know the money is quite expensive at this time. The money is $217 at this time. So I'm not sure if you can pay from Nigeria. And we know that the payment of like paying dollars from Nigeria, even for people right here, it's kind of it's not an easy task. So we always try to get people here to pay for those in Nigeria. So if if you are not that sure that, okay, you get funding, then I won't probably see a reason why you have to go ahead and do a evaluation, submit your application. And one advice I would definitely give is that for some department, they won't put it on the website, like my department, and that's biosystem engineering. They won't put it on the department that you have to get a lecturer. However, if you submit your application can be there for 10 years. Once you don't get an advisor, they are not going to respond to it. They are not going to even treat your application at all. So it's always advisable for you to get an advisor. Like send the last speaker has said it. You can keep sending mails. You keep receiving. You can receive rejection mail, and you might be lucky, as the person also said. The stuff is just like a lucky this thing. We have some person that just finished, and they will send an email and they will get it. And we have some person that are finished for the past 5 years. They've been sending emails and they are still there. So try to reach out to potential advisors, and the more you send the message, the more you improve your cold emails. Like the same email that I've been using to send, I've been sending it to different advisors, different faculty, and they will tell me that, oh, yeah, sorry, you can't work as a research assistant. Our advice is to apply. You know, there are so many heartbreaking messages and stuff like that. It was the same email that I sent to another man and was like, oh, I'm interested. I love your write-up. You know, it's so intriguing. I would like to talk with you and stuff like that. So you don't feel discouraged because someone tells you that you are not fit for his department, his lab doesn't mean that you are not going to be fit for another lab. So, but however, we also I know something about us in Nigeria too. When I was in Nigeria, I always avoid schools that we asked me to pay for application fee. I know this is not part of my topic, but they will ask me to pay for application fee. I always avoid that. And mind you, those schools that don't request application fee always have lots of applicants. But one thing that can give you assurance is that once you have a kind of go ahead, then for you to pay that, like for you to pay the application fee will not be a problem, because I was in the same shoe. I was telling myself when I was in Nigeria, I can't pay any application fee as I am. I'm not ready to pay any, when I have other schools that are offering me for free and stuff like that. But the last man that responded to me, the person that hired me, he said, okay, go ahead. You have to submit your application between this time and this time so that you can process your visa, because I know you have to process visa from Nigeria. So that one was was relaxing when I received the email. And for the school, I was not told to pay application fee. So I told my friend that, oh, I'm not going to apply to that school. And it was like, you already have this thing. What's wrong with you? So I had to pay application fee for this school, simply because I have a go ahead from the advisor. So please don't just apply to school like, oh, you just keep applying. If they didn't state it specifically on the school website that you don't need advisor, but if it's stated that you need advisor, it's not stated at all, please try to get advisor, and also tell them that you are interested, blah blah stuff. You are looking forward to applying to this for fall 2024 or stuff like that. So they will respond to you. If they don't respond to you, move ahead. And yeah, that's all for me. My DM is always open. I'm also on the group. If you have any question or any further this thing, I can probably be of assistance. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Alamide. That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, about to you, Mr. Ebenezer.
Thank you very much, both. Mr. Alamide, thank you very much for having us and for teaching us. Thank you for breaking it down. I really appreciate it. So to be rounding up, Mr. Kayode Adeyemi will be coming up to round up, and he'll be speaking on the process overview, what it takes to apply, and then the benefits of international education. So just give it up for the convener, Mr. Kayode Adeyemi. Live.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us this morning. I am so sorry also that this is coming so early, this meeting, and it's more like sacrificial for people that have spoken on this meeting since morning, because it's early in the morning over here. And I also hear that some people are writing exams like Meketaiwo scholarship and stuff like that. So I'm sorry for that. But next time we are going to have a more solid preparation. So don't forget that you can send your questions to the chat before I round up, and so that when you start, we will deal with the questions in order of reception. So I'm going to be talking on the process overview. Look at the how can we bring all these things together? How do you start from point A to point Z? So the first thing is to ask yourself, which area of research can you function? Which area of research do you have experience in? Do you want to jump from chemistry to computer science? Do you want to jump from physics to economics? So question is that, what area of research do you want to do? That's your own personal drive. What do you want? So that's the first thing you have to look at. Like, okay, what did I want? Did I want to study? Do you want to do biology? And under biology, do you want to do fish biology? Or you want to do animal biology? Or which kind of things? Infectious disease? You want to talk about chemistry? Which one? Be more specific. Decide and know for sure, this is what I want to do. Why I'm saying this, why it's important for you to know at the beginning is that, let me tell you, when you start looking for schools, you will see a lot of tempting opportunities, tempting area of research. So if you're not so solid on what you want, you'll be distracted. And once you are distracted in this journey, it's very hard to know what you are doing, because it's going to reflect in your SOP. Your distraction will be reflected on your SOP. So you need to be more like straightforward. So the second thing is that preparing your CV. So first decide on your area of research interest. Now prepare your CV. Like, yeah, so prepare your CV as you have seen the template from our speaker. Prepare your CV. Don't let it be too long. Like, okay, because I have written a lot of papers, I've done a lot of conferences, like that.
It's 9 o'clock.
Make sure that your CV is not more than. Sorry, I want to mute that person that is distracting me. Mute. Okay, cool. It's muted. Yeah. So let your CV be kind of short, concise. Don't be too long, like 10 pages of CV. You are still a student. In fact, you are coming for it as a student, so it doesn't need to. Jesus. So yeah, next thing is that get your transcript from your school. I'm talking about the process now. See, the arrows are there. Get your transcript from your school, the school you graduated from in Nigeria or in Ghana or Kenya, anywhere you come from. Get your transcript. Get personal copy of your transcript. Tell your school, ask them to give you a copy of your transcript and have it with you. Some school have the transcript as result, online result, like OAU I graduated from. Our transcript is given to us. You can have access to your transcript online anytime, anywhere. But that transcript is not stamped. It's not given to you by any office. It's just kind of result that is collated together. So you can, what I did at the beginning was that I downloaded those results as PDF, and I was using it for my application at the beginning. And before I got my transcript as personal copy from the school. So you can do that process also. Find out, how do you get a transcript from your school? How do you get that transcript from your school? Ask your school alumni, your friends that have graduated, your friends that have gone through this process, ask them, how do they do it? You get some school, Nigeria, it's kind of corrupt, right? And some of the school lecture or the office people, the exam and record department can tell you that, okay, you have to pay 5,000 there. Okay, I don't have money. So brother or sister, I don't know, you have to pay that to get a transcript. You can't go to the VC and be reporting somebody because of 5,000 there, right? I'm not saying you should be paying bribe, you get, but even the US, there's something called facilitated application. If you apply for something, it's not bribeable. Government have put in some things that if you want your applicant to be very fast, you pay this money. Everybody know about it. You have to pay it if you want your applicant to be fast. Next, you need to talk to your recommenders, your professors. And as you've heard from Ms. Judith, it doesn't need to be like a professor, but if it's a professor, it's good. Make sure you get at least 5 people that can speak about you, right? Don't just grab somebody from the street. Hey, sir, yesterday you talked to me. I was so happy. So can you write a letter for me? The person did not know you before. There's nothing, no connection, no official relationship with the person. Don't forget, you can also use your boss at work to write recognition letter for you. You can use I saw someone using Pastor. Yeah. If the pastor can tell us how long he has known you, not like just joined last year. He joined the church last year and use your pastor. Or you can use your imam. Your imam has known you for a long time. I don't use 2 pastors and 1 academicians, right? So if you want to use someone like a pastor, like imam, like anybody that is not officially connected to you, make sure it's not more than one person, right? So the other person must be professors. And I advise you that make sure you use your supervisor that supervises undergraduate project or that supervisor of master's project. Then go to the school website, the school you are trying to apply to. Look at the requirements, the funding requirements, the admission requirements. These are the process. Decide, prepare, read. Read the requirements. What do they want in the school? What do they say? Did they say this and this and that? Did they mention some courses you have to take? Don't forget to put everything in the tracking that Mr. Adesina has talked about. And the next one is that now, once you have decided, okay, this school, I like it, the requirement is good, it's great, wow, wonderful, nice. Email the graduate coordinator and ask the graduate coordinator that, oh, you're interested in this school, your school, and you want to ask that, do you need a professor to consent on accepting you as a student before you apply? Or is it a custom in your department that you can, as a student that doesn't even have a professor on ground? So that is a very cogent and important point you have to raise with the graduate coordinator. Don't just tell the coordinator, hey, I'm interested in your school, and stop there. Say, okay, you're interested in my school, welcome. So what next? What do you want? So you can apply. You don't need to talk to me. So you want to email the graduate coordinator, ask specific questions. And at this point, when you want to start emailing the graduate coordinator, at the early stage, don't ask for application fee waiver, because it's going to give you a very bad impression. Like, I don't even know you before. This is the first email you're sending to me. Ask me for application fee waiver. Ask specific question like, okay, do your school require professors to be accepted, for me to be accepted by a professor before I apply? Does your school require GRE? Does your school require TOEFL? Tell them you have education in Nigeria with English language as medium of instruction. Tell them your blah, blah, blah. No, don't let it be too long. Don't write a textbook to them, right? If you want, you can send a CV, but it's not really important. What you just need from them is information. They don't need your CV at this stage. Next one. Once the graduate coordinator say, yeah, you don't need GRE. Yes, you need GRE. Yes, you don't need TOEFL. Yes, you need TOEFL. Don't forget to ask them that, can you accept Duolingo? Because I advise people to be writing Duolingo because it's cheaper than TOEFL, right? And it's easier to pass. So some schools accept Duolingo. Why some schools doesn't accept Duolingo? Yeah. So once the graduate coordinator accepts you and say, okay, yeah, I like it, I'll apply. This is the requirement for the school, and it doesn't cost a lot, and you don't require GRE, you don't need professors, blah, blah, blah. So once you are okay with the response of the coordinator, but don't forget that this stage is not important. It's not so important, but it's recommended. It doesn't need to go through that step, but it's recommended that you to go through that step. Why? To solidify your application. Next, read the professor's area of research work, what the professor is working on. Go to the school website, go to the department of the school, and you see faculties. They call them faculties. You go to faculties, look at the research what they are doing, and read everything. And look at, okay, maybe you listed like 14 faculties. Maybe you can select 2 faculties and say, because this one is when you're working on this area, I have an experience in that area, and I like this area, and I have experience in that area. So select 2 professors and put it in your tracking Excel sheets so that you not forget them, because it's very easy to forget when you get a professor. You just there's some professor in University of Alabama, or how is it? What's his name? You forgotten, it's gone. So you have to go back again and search, and that is a wasted time, right? Once you have decided on this professor that you want to work with, send cold emails, just like Mrs. Judith have told us about. Send cold emails and follow the advice she gave you and she gave us in this meeting. And send code emails. Make sure you send code emails at least 2, or she said 5 every day. So you can send 5 code emails every day. You don't need to pay for code emails, right? You don't need to pay for code emails. Now, my advice for code email is that send a code email in a point at a time that the professor will be waking up and reading your email. Let it be an official time, right? Like for instance, if you send me email to me by 2 a.m., to you, it's 8 a.m. But to me, it's 2 a.m. To you, it's okay. But for me, it's 2 a.m. I feel offended, like, kilo day, you don't even allow me to wake up. Did I kill? I'll not kill anybody in Jesus' name. Like me, what have I done? You don't even allow me to rest. See, Americans don't take their rest they don't play with their rest. They don't play with their phone. They don't play with their family time. Official time, they don't also play with that. So calculate the time. You don't need to calculate, just go to Google. Like, okay, what is the current time in University of Kentucky right now? Google will tell you, okay. So let me say I should send this email 4 hours to this time. So why? So that when the person gets to his office or his office, he's going to see your email popping up. early in the morning. So you will read it. So, yeah, I need a student. Yeah, he will reply to you. But you go and send the email after work hours, maybe 6 p.m. It's not going to help you, right? Another reason why it's not going to help you, apart from being offended, is that other emails will pile up on your emails. You get, so before you scroll down and see one research interest, say, well, I'm not even ready to read all those things today. Tomorrow comes again, you forget about it totally. So you need to make sure that you send your email at the appropriate time so that it will be read and responded to. So next one is write SOP. After you send your code emails, you've gotten your response. You have a SOP already. Edit your SOP, write the SOP so that it can match with this criteria. Code emails is also matched with the research work of the professor. It matches together. Your SOP should be in align with this. Don't write an SOP that from the moon. Don't write an abstract SOP that we don't even talk, we know what we're talking about. Okay, I'm a professor. I'm working on Legionella pneumophila, a bacteria. So I'm a professor. I'm working on Legionella pneumophila as a bacteria. Are you talking to me about virus? You're talking about fungi. You're talking about many things. See, I don't think you can match my field, my laboratory team. So make sure this SOP is in line with this response, right? Make sure everything is in line, is connected, right? Then after you've written your SOP, you proofread your SOP, send it to people to read it for you, to edit it for you, people in the field. You are in biology or you're in chemistry, you're an economist. If you're an economist, don't send it to someone in chemistry to read your SOP for you because it doesn't understand what is marginal return, doesn't understand what is called all those fiscal policies. It doesn't understand all those things. So make sure you send the SOP to somebody in that field so that the person can look at it more professionally and more like academically. Next, start the application. Start. Why I say start is that if you don't start the application, nobody will wake you up in the morning and say, hey, Joshua, we are University of Kentucky, come to our school. No, nobody's going to do that. So if you don't apply, you are not, all these things you have done is just waste of time. All these meetings you have attended, if you don't apply, it's a waste of time. I'm telling you, if you don't apply, it's just a waste of time. Then apply, and don't forget the deadlines as said by Mr. Raphael. Apply at the deadlines and apply early enough. Don't apply 2 days before the deadline, 3 days before the deadline. Why? Because some schools have policies whereby they share the fundings as the first student that comes get the funding. So if there's remaining funding, they will give to the next student that comes. If there's remaining funding, they give to the next student that comes. So if you only finish, they will not go and put it in the website. Okay, funding has finished, or don't come again. They will not do that. They will say accept applications. So if you apply 2 days before the deadline finish, there's possibility that the funding has finished. You will just be surprised that you are in the same class with somebody. Somebody is collecting full funding with monthly salaries. You are paying school fees. So I don't want that to happen to you. So make sure that you apply at the deadline, right? Now, after you start application, that is when you cannot request for application fee waivers. Don't require application fee waiver at the beginning of your correspondence with the school, right? Because it doesn't speak well about you. So application fee waiver, ask for it. Make sure you request for it because it doesn't affect your application. It doesn't make you less human to request for help. Americans like people that request for help. But if you don't request for help, that's when you become like this one, feel like you know everything. Okay, you have money, Abby. We help you to spend the money. Request for application fee waiver and don't be saying things like, oh, my family is so poor. You don't need to say all those elaborated diminishing state or diminutive statement. You just make sure that you just say you need application fee waiver, you cannot afford it, blah, blah, blah. Just say some things. It's kind of email too. It's not like you don't write a letter about that. If you don't know how to write it, all these things, just ask ChatGPT, but don't copy ChatGPT to your emails, right? Read it and modify it, let it flow with you, let it be along with you, then send it. Life is not easy. Then after start application, upload your document, request for recommendation letters, then submit. A lot of applications were started that they are not submitted. If you don't start, you don't submit, you have not done anything. The only thing you can be hearing from the school, you don't submit is that they will be reminding you, hey, you have started application, come on, finish it, come on, finish it. You don't finish it, nothing, right? Then wait. After submission, wait and pray because we are not fighting against flesh and blood. we're against municipalities and power. So you got to pray, you got to wait and pray. You got to wait, be patient, right? And once you are patient, you look for more opportunities to apply for more schools, right? Then, wow, congratulations, you made it. You made it. Then we celebrate it on the group, right? So next thing is that what does it take to apply and succeed in this application journey, right? You need God. You need God. You need directions. Don't forget the first point I mentioned here is decide on your area. So if you don't know your area, pray, ask God, and pray, and still ask God for the process to give you strength to continue. Now you need desire. You need desire. You need drive. You need to surround yourself with people that understand your dream, right? You need drive. You need someone that will tell you, yeah, you got to do that. Oh, yeah, don't send it like this, send it like you need a guide. You need desire. You need desire in your heart. Yeah, this is not a preaching time. I suppose I want to just use one Bible verse, but this is not a preaching time, right? There you need time. You need to invest time to your application. You need to invest time. You are sending emails, it takes time. The time you are using on TikTok, the time you are using on Instagram, on Facebook, on this blah, 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 you invest that time in official social media, and this. You can go be more serious on places like LinkedIn, ResearchGate, important social medias that you can see research work and stuff like that. Invest time in your application. If you don't invest time, nobody will do it for you. Remember all this step. If you email me, if you send me a chat now on WhatsApp now and say, hey, Mr. Carlo, come and help me with the application, then you want me to do all these things for you, like all these things for you. I have a job now. Like, nobody can stand and say you want to do everything for you. If I charge you to do all these things for you, and in fact, if I even charge you, I don't think I can have time to do all these things. You got to invest time in each one of them every day. You need to invest money. Sometimes you don't need to spend money a lot, and that is why I want to bring in Education USA and Michael Taiwo Foundation. And those 2 points, the most important point is Education USA, the most important channel. Like for instance, myself and some people, a lot of people in the US, they are in US right now. We don't pay anything. We don't pay a dime for applications. Like my GRE fee, though of course I pay my GRE fee, but to others, and before I got to know about education, I've already paid for my GRE fee. For others, they don't pay for GRE, they wrote GRE. They don't pay for TOEFL, they wrote TOEFL. For me, all my application fees, I didn't pay. Some of my application fees, I don't pay for it. Education USA pay for me. For others, all the application fees for the 4 schools they applied to, it was paid for them by Education USA. And my flight tickets was paid by Education USA. So, and others, a lot of people are like that. So once you have a good CGPA, maybe you have first class or 4.4 something, 4.48, 4.46, 7, 8, 9, or first class, and you are from minority region, maybe you are from the north, it's also give advantage. I remember during my time in the Education USA cohort, people that wrote the exams were about 60, they want to select 20. Out of those 60 people that wrote the exam, only 3 females were there. So an Education USA give them automatic acceptance, irrespective of how they did in the interview. So that could be your luck also. So apply for Education USA. Next year is coming up. I think it always come around March and May and April. So make sure you're at alert and apply for it. And yeah, then you need consistency. You need to continue. Don't be tired. Keep pushing it. And encouragement. This seems to be like a motivational section, right? This slide, but actually you need it. You need the motivation. You cannot just wait like that. You need motivation. And the benefits, I like talking about this because I like money. I like money. I like the benefit. I like talking about the benefit because what is it? You want to ask, why should I do all this stress? Like, why? No, the first one is that graduate certification from the US is sweet. It's great, right? It's a good channel and opportunity to open a lot of windows for you, a lot of opportunities for you that you can never imagine. As you pray to God, God uses the opportunity to bless you. It's a very great platform to have certificates from the US. Even if you even come for diploma degrees, it's even important. Diploma, master's, PhD, anything, bachelor in the US, you are hot cake. That is one thing. That's about future perspective of that, right? Next, if you go through this process and you get what we're talking about, the full funding scholarship, you are going to pay 0 tuition fee. You're going to pay school fees as a grad student. You're not going to pay school fees. Americans, all those Americans, some of them pay school fees, and you are not going to pay school fees. So that is a very good one, right? You also receive some sweet monthly stipends, very sweet, right? Sweeter than your salary right now, that is more than 10 times of your salary right now, right? So, so let me just give you a range of that money so I can know what I'm talking about. Maybe you'll be paid about around $1,000 in a month to $2,500 in a month. So if you convert that to Naira, you know what that means. You will pay about 800,000 Naira per month. Of course, you have expenses also to pay, right? But still, you still have some money to use that God used to bless you with from this means, right? Of course, the focus is not the money. The focus is the certification, right? But it's part of it. Money answers all things, that's what the Bible says, right? Next is that if you come to US for school, you are going to have a speedy graduation. You don't need to, like, Nigeria is affected by ASU strike, another strike, this one strike, NLC strike. It's not going to be a problem at all. What affects your graduation in this US is how serious are you to your graduate school. It's not going to be affected by any damn thing. Or only thing that can affect it, maybe 1% is your faculty members, if they're serious or not serious, but that is just 1% of it. Next, opportunities that you can work in the US after you finish your studies, right? You can work in the US without bribing anybody. Everything is official, legal, you are cool, and this is a platform for you to move forward. I see this, God is using this now to bless people, especially for people that come from low background like me. So don't forget that, keep calm during the process, and remember that Jesus loves you above PSA, right? Thank you so much for the time. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode, for your time. Thanks so much for breaking down for us. Thank you for the words of encouragement, and thank you for always being involved in your discussion. All right, so it's time for the question and answers. Please, everyone in the house, if you have a question, you can just unmute your mic, like just unmute your mic to ask a question, and then mute it back so that we don't start having background noises and it starts clustering our ears. We don't want to go there. Please help us. So if you have questions, just signify in the chat box that I have a question. Then the speaker unmute your mic. Then you unmute your mic to ask your question. So let's just do it cordially and let it be of no noise background. So I personally have a question to Mr. Elisha. Mr. Elisha said we can fill up our CV as long as we keep improving. If you don't mind the 2 pages or whatever pages. Now what I'm going to say, when you are going through graduate school application, the minimum or the maximum, let me just say the maximum number of pages that is required is 2 pages. Now my question is, Mr. Elisha, are you saying that it is possible or it is okay to disobey the normal requirement?
Yeah, Mr. Elisha is not in charge. He actually did some research throughout the night, so he needs sleep. He has gone. So let me answer that question. Yeah, what it means is that don't limit yourself, right? Don't limit yourself to like squeezing things to 2 pages. But of course, 2 pages is actually the gold standard for all the schools. So I advise that you just minimize to 2 pages. And if you have a lot of stuff, maybe you have a lot of stuff and the page is now 4 pages, and maybe, for instance, your font size is very big, that is what makes it very big, to be long. So just a bit of font size. And not reduce your font size in a way that it is unreadable, make it legible, right? And let the space be okay and clear. So 2 pages should be enough for people like us starting application, people like you starting application, because they have not gone to different conferences and stuff like that. So 2 pages should be enough. Don't write unnecessary things. Don't write secondary school education, primary school education, you're a senior boy, you're a senior prefect. Leave those things. Nobody cares about those things, right? Create space for important things, right? So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Any other questions, please signify in the chat box if you have questions. So Mr. Kayode could just tackle these questions for us and we can chat.
So there are some questions, people raising their hand. Fatun Barry Oladayo. So you can unmute yourself and ask the question. We are going to read the question on the chat. So, but I would prefer you saying the question by words, like that will really bring them. Right? Let's talk about Fatun Barry first. Okay.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yes.
Please, my question is that you mentioned that we should send in our code emails in the morning when the professor or the advisor are waking up, please can you just tell us the time, as in the approximate time you can message them in the morning as to our own time in Nigeria here?
So, okay, does anybody among the facilitator want to help us to answer the question? Mr. Olamide or Mr. Raphael, you can help us to answer the question.
Hi, I think that's a really good question. So what Brakade was saying there is that you need to know the time difference between Nigeria and the school you're applying to. For example, in Kentucky, where we are right now, it's 5 hours difference. So 9 o'clock, for example, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning in Kentucky, you know, Nigeria is 5 hours ahead. So you say 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. So it will be 1 o'clock in Nigeria. So that means if you send your email around that time, 1 o'clock, then they'll be getting it 8 a.m. in the morning here. So once the person just goes to the office and open his computer, he will just see, oh, this, you know, somebody is requesting for something. You can. So again, maybe 2 o'clock in Nigeria might be 9 a.m. 2 o'clock in Nigeria is 9 a.m. here. Those are, you know, like, let me say, hot periods, like maybe time they just want to check their email before they go to class to teach or something like that. But when it's getting to 2 o'clock here, or 1 o'clock, they might go on break. So, you know, they might go on break, and just like Rakari said, they take their break, anything they need, they take it very seriously. So they might go on break, or, you know, so although if the email it doesn't automatically mean that if the email doesn't get to them in the morning, they will never read it. No, they will always get back. But if, for example, they are there on their computer and they're trying to check their mails in the morning before they go to class, and your email just pops in, their brain is still fresh. Their brain is still fresh, and maybe their pocket is still very full at that time. You just send it to them, and they were like, before, you know, it's human beings, before they even start, they may feel like, oh, this girl sent this email at a very good time. Oh, okay, that's very good. Can you send me more information about you? I would like to schedule a meeting with you. That's just how it is. But, you know, if you get to a time when they are under pressure, maybe there is something in the afternoon when, you know, everywhere is hot, they have a lot of things have gone on through the day. They might be like, oh, okay, I'll get back to you. So, yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Do you have another question, Ms. Fatum?
No, for now.
So, Kehinde Samson, you raise your hand, please. Ask a question.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Kayode and the other speakers. Thanks for the wonderful presentation. Yeah, the question I have is, I'm HND graduate, and I've done my West evaluation so far, and I've been always have issue with my recommenders, my referee. Most of them used to attend to their emails sometimes, despite I would even notify them that, okay, the school have sent an email that they should help me, like, attend to the message. So this has been like always encouraging me, like, to apply to some school, because I always have this issue with them. Well, I want to ask if I can actually, because I graduated from Polytechnic in Nigeria, so but currently I'm in University of Lagos. Like, I've used my other HND to process for that HND, though I'm 400 level now. So I want to ask if I can actually secure referee from my present school, which is University of Lagos. Despite that's not where I graduated from.
Yeah, let me answer that question. So the first thing is that if you use the people in the University of Lagos right now, they've known you for just 1 year. And that's, now looking at the going forward of this, your present course now, you need 4 years for this course or 3 years for this course. You already spend 1 year. So if you are using them right now for your accommodation, the school will like, because the person will always mention, okay, it's my student in year 2 and 2000 or something. I said, you are in year 2023. How do you want to finish your current bachelor degree when you're supposed to have resumed in the US? So, but if you can still use like one person from that school, but don't focus on that in this your current University of Lagos. You can use somebody in that school for your current recommendation letter. But for your HND degree, that your professor that didn't want to give a recommendation letter, depending on who are you using, are you really focusing on one person? Like, this person must write for me. It's not a must. Somebody must write for you. Like for instance, you did a lot of courses in your HND and OND. Don't forget that you can actually apply for master's degree in the US with HND. You don't need the bachelor degree in Unilag to apply for master's in the US. That same HND you have, you can use to apply for master's in the US. And thank God you have done your West evaluation. So if you can pick like 2 professors different from who you are using it before in that HND, your OND, remember those period, those professors that taught you. So you have about 2 or 3 professors in that place. Anyone that is not writing for you, just leave the person and look for the person that can write for you, right? And don't forget that I mentioned that you can also use your pastor that you know for a long time, maybe one person, just one. Because you have options. You can also use people that are your boss at work. Maybe after your HND, you work like 1 year or 2 years. That person know you also. You work with the person officially, right? So you can use the person, you can use that one person. But before, if you combine all this together, you will have like those 3 recommendation letter that you want.
Okay. Secondly, sir, so the issue of publication, I don't know how is it. One must have like official like publication before one can like submit it at the written sample, or I can just use my like undergraduate thesis whenever I want to submit my written sample.
Okay, yeah, written sample, like your thesis that you wrote and stuff like that. But publication is not thesis. Publication is a step forward after thesis, right? You've done your thesis, you've done your experiment, you're undergraduate, and you have your thesis written. You have to convert that to manuscript and publish in a high impact, not high peer reviewed journal, right? Where they review, and that takes a lot of time. And I advise you that make sure try to publish that your thesis when you are in Nigeria now before you come here. Why? Because if you come here, they will charge you money for publication as application processing charge, APC. But if you are in Nigeria, they look at those journals, they look at you are from a developing country. So they are going to reduce the charge they put on you. So you can publish your paper better and faster in Nigeria before you come in. So, and don't forget that publication is also important for your application. So try to publish, but if you don't have the time to publish before your application starts, just start your application, just start the process, right? Don't let everything be like in the right circumstance before you start.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. Jonathan. So, Jonathan, you raised your hand. You can ask the question. Okay, let's move to Oshoma Erumiseli. You can.
Okay, good afternoon. Good day, sir.
Yes.
Good day, sirs. My network is pretty quite not good here, but if you can hear me, I have 2 questions.
Okay, continue.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the first question is on my recommendation letters. I'm actually an MSc holder, and in application, the last one I did was for Clemson University, but only 2 recommenders wrote for me, which actually disqualified me because it was part of the rejection letter. It was stated there. So I want to know if I can use my current employer also as a recommender, aside from my professors. Then my second question is, I heard about a friend talking about attending webinar for free application waiver for some schools. They give code when you attend their webinar and all of that. So I want to really know, how can one sustain application waiver for schools?
Yeah, so I would like one of our facilitators to answer the question. Is anybody available? Mr. Raphael, Mr. Olamide, Judith has gone. Yeah. Who can also answer the question?
I know for some schools, I know majorly Purdue University. Purdue University always do that. Once you attend the once you attend the seminar, like maybe orientation stuff like that, they'll ask you to enter your email, ask you some questions, and from there they will give you application waiver. So, and we have some schools that also do kind of DICE program, like diversity program like that. But one of the best way you can get it is if for some persons that have attended, maybe we keep sending them emails once it's getting closer. So, but if you've never attended before, maybe your best choice might be if they post it on the group, you can probably get the notification to attend. But you can also check out one of that. I know of Purdue University. Purdue University is very common because most schools will probably also some schools will also attend as well. So you can check that one out.
Yes, yes. So to add to that, thank you, Mr. Olamide.
Hi. Hello.
Okay. Sorry, I want to say something, please. I'm coming.
Okay.
To add to that, there is a website called Yocket. So if you go to the website of Yocket, they have schools that are doing webinars for potential graduate students. And once you attend the webinars, most of the school will give you application fee waivers. So check it out. Yeah. So you can continue. Fatsun Barry Olamide. I think somebody was talking before. Is that person done?
No, he's not. I want to answer one of his questions.
Okay. Yeah, please.
There's this NIS program going on now. And if you attend the program too, you will get waivers from schools. I think it's this NIH program. It will start the virtual by 24th of this month till 11th of August. So if you can be attending once in a while, you will be able to get waivers too from the schools. Please, can you spell that your name? What do you call this person?
Yocket. Let me type it.
This spell is okay. Thank you.
Help us to type the NI stuff so we can just share ideas. Yeah, good to just. Okay, the next person now. Yeah, the next.
Right. Yeah. Okay. My name is Jonathan Imons, just as you have said. And the question that I want to ask, because if eventually you are trying to email or send a cold email to a potential advisor, and then you try to view his research or her research, and I saw something like this, like the area of expertise, and this area of expertise will be like good people like me. I'm interested in microbiology.
Sorry, I can't hear your voice again.
Okay. I said maybe you are. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you want to email a potential advisor, and when you are viewing his or her expertise, and you see the words like this: molecular biology, genetics, and genomic, and bioinformatics. Those are the zone area of concentration. And can you email him or her using that expertise to say his own expertise align with your own expertise?
Okay, who will help us to answer the question?
And excuse me, and number two, I would like to, there's something I would love to contribute when you are done asking my question.
Okay, cool, nice. Okay, let me quickly answer the question. Like, okay, the person said that his area is genomic, genetics, molecular or bioinformatics. Of course, all those things you mentioned, they're all together, right? So, I think you have to mention, you have to say that, look at the template that Miss Judith shared with us, right? Look at the template. It's not too long and it's very concise and it's very straight to the point. Just try to use that template and don't copy words for us. Don't use the same words. Don't use the same. You make sure you tell the person that this your area is in line with my experience, what you have done before, and your interest, your goals, your career goals, right? So you cannot differentiate, you cannot distinguish between professors' research work and you as potential students. It must align, right? So you have to mention that it's aligned. You have to mention it in that email. Did I get your question right, or did I answer it correctly? Did I answer your question correctly, Mr. Emmons? Okay, you said you want to contribute something, so please come or meet yourself and ask and talk. Simon, you are muted.
Okay. Now my contribution is that regarding to that sending cold email, there was a very big mistake I made, and that mistake would have been one of the best opportunities I got. Not few weeks ago, I sent a code email to one school, that is Illinois school like that. And when I sent the email, but I never knew that biology is so divided into several groups. I never knew I was supposed to send the email to someone who is under virology. For the email, I sent it to someone who his concentration is conservation, biology, and evolution. And when I tried do this thing, I forward the email, and the email he gave back to me say, "Oh wow, though I have a space in my lab right now, which I could have been able to work, accommodate you, but quite obvious that my research interest does not align with your own interest." And I tried to convince him that in my country, our system of education is somehow complex in the sense that you can as well did maybe zoology, borrow courses from each of the areas. That with what you are doing, I believe that I will be able to fit in. I can as well do better, but this one was too late. And I was able to realize that the mistake started from my CV. Assuming my CV read something of ecology and evolution, then I would have got that opportunity right now. And that's what I wanted to do. But if eventually anyone that is you are writing, you have to be concise. Know what you are doing, going for. Know the email, the person you are trying to send the email to. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mr. Amos. That is well noted. Mary, let's hear from you. What's your question?
Okay, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for this webinar. So I'm thinking of how to initiate a conversation with a professor, but I don't know how to start it because last year I could email a professor in Western Illinois, I think so. So he told me to apply that he needed a graduate student. So I applied late because my West came out late. And on this department website, I noticed that they said currently they have 20 graduate students and 17 have graduate assistantship. That was masters for masters. So I didn't bother to ask the professor. I didn't want to ask him about funding or anything so that he will not be discouraged. That was what I feel. So after a month, they gave me admission. And each time I could email the professor, he always replied me within 1 hour or even 30 minutes. So after they gave me admission, I now chatted him. No, I sent him a mail. And I asked him if he has funding, the way I will go about funding. He stopped replying me. And I sent a reminder, he didn't reply me. So I have to email the graduate coordinator up to 2 times, 3 times. She didn't reply. So I have to call the professor. Another person picked the call, told me that he's busy. I should email the graduate coordinator again. So since then, I did not hear anything from anyone. So I have to defer the admission till this 2024. So now I don't know what to tell the professor or how to start another conversation with the professor. I don't know what to do.
So the admission came without funding, right?
Yes, it's only the school gave me $5,000 for because of my GP, but the department, I didn't know what to do. Though I noticed late that I was supposed to apply for graduate assistantship in the department. I noticed that late and I applied late.
So do you have you applied for that for 2024 that you deferred to? Because if you don't apply for it, not the same thing that happened 23 will still happen again.
Okay, they said I should apply once, which means I need to apply again for this year.
Yes, because each cycle is being treated each year. So they cannot bring your application last year to this year unless you tell them, you're right. So go to the site again, apply again for the assistantship. And after you've applied, make sure you now tell the guy coordinator, I've applied. He responds to you, he doesn't respond to you, just send the email you've applied. And don't forget the tactics that we talk about in writing emails, the time zone and stuff like that, so he can respond to you.
Okay. So I don't need to communicate with the professor again.
Actually, when you mentioned that school, Linus, I don't know if any of my facilitators know about that school, but I have a kind of conception about the school. Mr. Alamide. Mr. Alamide. Okay, maybe he's busy. Illinois is not a general school, right? So that's one of the things you have to find out. Like, okay, this school to apply to, is it generous? I know that Illinois, they're kind of stingy. They're like Stephen Institute of Technology, SIT, ST, is it SIT? They are kind of stingy. Some of them are private universities. They're not endowed enough to finance grad school students like that. So those are the information you have to gather from internet or from people that know about the school. Some schools are there's nothing you can do. They cannot give you more than $5,000. Some schools will give you $10,000. They will not pay your school fees. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much for the question. That's a very nice question. Mr. James, I think that's the last person on this audio question before we go to the chat box for the questions on the chat box. Okay, Mr. James. Mr. James, your question, we are waiting. So maybe we should just keep that and move on. Okay, so Mr. Abinza, let's continue. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you.
can I make a contribution, please?
Okay, yes.
To Mary, I would probably advise her that she first need to find out I don't know, what course did she apply to? Mary, what course did you apply for?
Chemistry.
Okay. Okay, now there are ways you can also get graduate assistantship. Probably reach out to, apart from applying formally, which of the semester do you defer the admission to?
2024.
Which of the
yes,
fall or fall?
2024.
Okay, that means you have more time to request for assistantship. You apply for assistantship again, but at the same time, you can reach out to other labs within the department to see if you can get assistantship. Visit the assistantship sites, find out the opportunities assistantship available. Then, where the man doesn't have in his own lab, reach out to other similar labs within the school or within the department rather, and reach out to those professors to see if you can get assistantship from them. That could be another easy way out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. That is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mr. James, okay, you're back. Okay, ask your question. Be brief. Mr. James, okay, so Mr. Ebenezer, let's continue on the chat. Let's do it. Okay, I don't think Mr. Ebenezer is available. Let me read it myself. The first question is that how can we overcome the problem of getting a reference letter from a lecturer? It's really difficult, especially when you're applying to multiple schools. Many lecturers find it hard and even decline the request. Yes. So who can help us with this question? Or I should, Mr. Raphael. Mr. Lamide, can you help us with this question? He said that you're applying to multiple schools. How can we convince professors to help us out with the
Well,
fight?
well, that question is, I had the question. That's how it always is. That's why you don't have to just apply to just any schools. And everything that we've been saying, that's okay, be so sure. And also it also depends on your relationship with the lecturer. So, and as much as possible, we want to build a relationship with not just 2-3 lecturers. One of the speakers said you should have backup in such that, okay, I remember when I was applying for Education USA in Nigeria then. So there's this lecturer that I tried to use, and so I sent her everything. So she said she's going to attend to it. When I noticed that she was taking my time and she's not responding, I just moved to another person, used the person. Later on, the person came back and was like, oh, well, I'm in the offer with you. I said, I'm sorry that I've used another person. I said, oh, please, anytime you need my help again, let me know, because she feels so bad. It's because I had a kind of backup plan. So you don't just want to depend on just one person, like sending all the applications and stuff like that. However, if everything that has been said here, you used all the formats such that you reach out to potential advisor, like, you know that, okay, the funding is kind of sure. It's not just that you are submitting application blindly, like just submit. No. You are so sure that, okay, this one, like you have a kind of glimpse of faith that, okay, this one will probably work because you've done your assignment. Then you won't really need so many persons to be filling recommendation letters for you for different schools. That's my view.
Thanks so much. That is so awesome. I can't say more than that, really. The next question is from Kolawole Messi. Say that it's no news that GRE format is assuming a new dimension by 2022 September. What's your opinion about this change in numbers of hours and questions? How do we approach this to maximize the chance to our favor? Cool. Like GRE is changing their method of asking questions, and the time is shorter, I think, and the sections are shorter. That makes sense now, because normally before you spend like 3-4 hours in GRE exam room and you'll be writing questions, kind of headache that comes with it, and doesn't really show that you're brilliant, you're not brilliant. It's still based on. So my opinion on this is that take everything as a blessing. Don't complain. You cannot change GRE, right? Take it as a blessing. Like, okay, yeah, GRE has changed the time. They have reduced the time. I like it. Make sure you like it. Next one is that prepare. There's nothing more than preparation in this GRE thing. You got to prepare. So if it was difficult for you to prepare, like it's difficult, like most people, because are busy at work, and it's easier to prepare if you are doing some jobs in Nigeria that give you time after you have worked. Maybe, for instance, you are teaching a school and you close by 4. From 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you have time for yourself. You can prepare very well. But if you're not close at work around 8 p.m., before you get home, you're tired. You cannot prepare. That kind of stressed. So, or you're in Lagos, you have to drive. You're in a hold up for 4 hours, 3 hours. I advise you to go to this website. I will type it right now on the chat. So you go to the website. They will help you to prepare for GRE. They will break it down for you for 2-3 months. All the topics, all the things, teaching, the learning, everything you have to do is there. And there's a live class every day, not every day, maybe 2-3 in a week, that they will teach you live classes. The person that is doing this website is an American, and Asians, that is what they are using, the Chinese, the Koreans. So I'm going to meet, you may not meet people directly because it's Zoom meeting like this, and they are going to break down all the courses or the quant and the paper for you. So, but it comes with the pay, right? It's not like PSA. This man charge $5 in a month. It's not killing, right? It's still cheap. So I'll put the website on the chat. Check the website on the chat and see if you can make use of that to prepare for GRE. So next question is who's the next question by you?
To Mr. Kayode. I think the next question is people needing recording and slides is normal. Then there's another one that says permit me to leave the meeting due to cost. I would appreciate if I can get the voice note and slide. That's normal. Then the next notable question is there any group created for further inquiry? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Is there any group created for further inquiry? The CSA group. Someone is asking for the CSA group.
Yeah. The group is in the group, and you can join. Let me. Can I exit?
That's Tunji. Yes, that's Tunji. Tunji is also asking if he could get the contact of this mathematics facilitator. That is Judy. That should be Judy. He's asking if he could get the contact of that particular facilitator.
Oh yeah, on PSA you get to meet people on PSA. I mean, she's also free to. Every one of us are free, but don't come and ask questions like, "Come and write my CV for me." Don't come and ask that kind of question.
All right. And the next question is from Ali Togunleye. Ali Togunleye is asking if this session is specific to science-related courses. Are there opportunities for non-science students at all?
Oh yeah, I like that question. I love that question. So actually, let me answer the question. What I'm talking about is not limited to science. It's everybody: art, commercial, science, engineering, IT, anything. It depends on how you follow the process, and also depend on your mindset. If you think it's only science, it's difficult for you to get it. If you think I can get anything I want, difficult for you to get it. Yeah.
And the next question, hello?
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, this particular question has been answered. I'm asking about the approximate time, the best time to send a code email to the professor. It has been answered. And the next notable question is, please, my question is, can I use ChatGPT to help re-edit my SOP, even though I have my SOP on ground already? And then my second question is, can I come along with my wife and child for my PhD in US? This person is asking if he can use ChatGPT to re-edit the SOP and also bring dependents alongside with him when coming to study.
Yeah, cool. Let me start from the wife part. Yes, you can bring your wife, but it's better. Wait, it's better for you to come first as a single. I'm not the right person to answer that question. Let me tell Mr. Raphael to answer the question. Mr. Raphael, are you available? I don't think he's available. Okay, let me use my experience from people. Right? You can bring your wife, dependent. They will be F2 visa status, and you'll be F1. So it's very possible. But don't forget that it's easier for you to come first, so that the visa complications will not be, the questions will not be too much, and they'll not reject you easily. If you come first, you have full funding, you come first. Then after like some months or a year, your wife and your children comes along with you because you are now in the US. Yeah. Coming to the question on ChatGPT, using ChatGPT to edit your SOP, be careful of using ChatGPT because it's not human. It cannot be more specific as when you write your own SOPs. It's actually better to start with ChatGPT. That will give you the outline of what is needed to be written, the outline. Then you are focused, your direction, you're directed. Yeah. So how you should write your SOP, but don't use it to write your SOP, especially to edit. You can use to correct grammatical errors. Use Grammarly to correct grammatical errors, and you can use to check the plagiarism level before your application, before you submit. Check it yourself. Don't let the school check it for you. You get it. So yeah. Mr. Alame, do you have anything to say about?
Well, I think you've answered the questions.
Next one.
The next question is asking about the slides and the voice note, which is normal. And the next notable question will be the name of the website. I think you answered it already. Yoket Guard app.
Okay.
Now this person is asking, Usman Shiu, this person is asking, though I've answered, but it's good to shed more light. My recommenders don't have an official email. Can they use a personal email with letter-headed paper and stamp to send a recommendation letter?
Salam,
you.
Yes, they can use that. They can use that, but let the mail, and they should be able to respond to the mails and also even the phone numbers as well. Yeah, because the lecturer might probably fix like an appointment with them to meet and stuff like that. So the email must be accessible. Yeah.
So Mr. Usman, you got your answer there. And the next question is from Yusuf Alasan. How can I make payment for TOEFL? I heard one can apply through some agents at cheaper price. Please, how can I go about?
Yeah, so let me answer the question. Like, okay, I told you, during my own this presentation, I told you that my GRE was paid by myself and TOEFL before I met Education USA. And I didn't pay the full price, like how much, $195 or $200. I used the agents, right? And it was then, that was 2019. I paid like $35 or $40, but I'm so sure now to be up to $50 or $60. And the person I used that time said that she's not going to do that again. She's busy, and they also closed some of the accounts. The US government closed some of the accounts because it was found that it's not 100% legitimate to reduce the price. It's not like intentional reduction of price because we're in Nigeria. So I think that platform is not really plain and clean as I think you get. So, but I will still make inquiry and put on the group. You can remind me on the group. Yeah. I don't know if Mr. Alamide.
Well, once you want to pay, you can. There's no way. I already said it the other time. Even paying from Nigeria is so hard. So you can always ask on the group that you want to pay. Someone might probably might be able to assist you, and you can always reach out to Mr. Kayode as well. He has so many links at which he used to help people. Be able to help.
The next question is from Michael Dalibuba. Michael is asking, what if it happened you got 100% scholarship on tuition fee and you have to pay for your accommodation, flight tickets, among others? And if it's up to $2,450 and it happens you don't have a meet, is there a particular government support site for that or student loan website?
Yeah. Let me start with my contribution to this question before Mr. Olamide. Yeah, because I had some, okay, yeah. So congratulations, we've gotten admission, full funding, and 100% tuition fee and living expenses will be paid to you. Cool. So question is that, can you try all means, legitimate means, correct means, godly means, right? To raise this money. Yeah. It's not way, bro. To raise this money, right? So that you pay later when you come here. You pay gradually later when you come here. Ask your extended family member to borrow you 200,000 naira here, 400,000 naira here, 100,000 naira there. And of course, you can go to bank and collect loan. If you have a land in Nigeria to use as a collateral, you can get some loan with increase the rate of increase. Of course, the interest rates will not be so killing to you because you are coming to the US where you're going to be paid money that even that money is nothing to you, right? At when time comes. Of course, I'm not saying when you come to the US, you'll be picking money on the ground. You're not going to pick money on the ground, please. But you'll be able to pay back your debt. So find a way to you can't go all through this process and get to this point and say, hey, I don't have money for flight, and you sit down at home. No, you cannot do that. I beg. Now, don't forget Education USA, as I told you. They pay for your flight tickets. They pay for when there was COVID, they pay for COVID, blah blah blah, and they pay for other things, but they won't pay for accommodation. Even if you get Education USA, you still need to find a way to pay for your accommodation when you come here. And accommodation when you come here is roughly $350 to $600 for students. It's not, you get, so you got to find a way to pay for that. And you got to borrow money from somewhere to pay for that. So government agency in Nigeria, I'm sorry to tell you that. So
about this
Nige-
thing, Empower Loan? Mr. Kayode,
Empower-
Empower Loan.
yeah, you can pay for it. You can get empowered. But it's not easy. As I said, all these things, you guys, I don't know how it works. Really, really, really. I have friends that got it. I can get my information from them, but I don't think it's thing you can just say, oh yeah, if you need Empower Loan. They cannot give you like that. You have to go through the process that it entails. Like for instance, you can't compare Nigeria to other countries. Some of my friends here, I have a friend that is from India. He told me that he was spending money. I was like, this guy have money. He said, no, bro, it's student loan from the government. I said, hi, Jesus. Student loan from government. So Nigerian government cannot give you student loan. Nigeria, US, I mean, spending, they want to, they don't have those luxury of money to do that, right? So I don't think there's a specific government apart from Education USA, Empower Loan and some other loans, but make sure you get your loan. Make sure you get it. Yeah.
All right. Now the next question is from no name. Question is for course.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can I proceed?
Yeah, I think Mr. Olamide may have something to say about this.
All right.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Continue.
All right. For course-based prospective applicants, is there need to code email a professor? For course-based prospective applicants, is there a need to code email a professor?
Mr. Olamide. Yeah, Mr. Olamide, can you answer the question for us?
Repeat the question. Sorry.
For course-based prospective applicants, is there a need to code email a professor?
For course-based
prospective applicants. Don't know what is meant by course-based.
Course-based is, I get. Course-based, that's people with non-thesis, probably non-thesis masters. So, since you'll be working as a non-thesis masters, some of the department might probably give you TA. So if you say you want to message a professor, so you have to probably state it categorically. So you might be able to get TA. No, you can't get an Howley because Howley is actually for research. So that's your best threat might be the head of department, it doesn't matter. Even course-based non-STEM doesn't matter. At least I have someone that is coming to Auburn, coming to sociology. She's been employed as research assistant as well. So they still conduct research as well. So you have to check in with that. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ebenezer, continue. Okay, so let me continue the question. Maybe his network is not good. Where did he stop? Okay, I hope I'll get this the way he stopped. I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. I think he stopped at for course-based research. Thank you. Please, okay. Okay, cool. I know why he stopped now. Cool. Is what is the meaning of PSA? Just postgraduate studies abroad. That's all. That's it. Next, please, I want to ask, can one add a publication under review into his or CV? Yes, you can. Just state it. Somebody have answered your question, Ebenezer Razim. Cool. That's the right answer to give you. State the publication, state the year, state the journal it's been submitted to, and in front, put it in parentheses that is under review. Right. Next, can I have the record? Okay. Decision is okay. Next, Fatum Barry Oladayos asked that somebody is asking to join. Okay. Duolingo proficiency test. What is the acceptance rate in the US and outside the country? Mr. Olamide.
For Duolingo, most schools don't accept it. So you have to know, check with the school first before going on to write it. But some schools accept, while some schools do not accept. So it's still based on it's based on your research. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. Next question says that I have a research passion that is different from my undergrad. Okay, you say that I have a research passion that is a bit different from my undergraduate research line, but I plan to start a research internship that is in line with by next month, and I have 2 schools already that have given me go ahead to contact the supervisor in that research part that there is funding opportunity in that department, but I couldn't go ahead with by contacting them because I have a phobia that that if I'm accepted with my code email, and I was scheduled on online meetings to defend myself that in that line might be difficult because of the little experience I still have that in that research line, which I'm going for more next month. What do you think I should do?
Okay. Hold on, let me answer. I know that's actually a tricky question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So there's this interview trick that we always give to people. So now if you are having an interview, so one of the best way to ace the interview is please prepare a PowerPoint slide. And when you prepare a PowerPoint slide, you have the introduction about yourself. You have maybe just a brief something about maybe where you come from, your education, your education, your skills, your hobbies. So you list all those ones like that. By the time, not more than 10, not more than 10 or minimum of 5 or so. By the time you spend more time and present that, it's only what you present, and you also talk about by the time you are talking about your skills, your work, from that aspect, it will be very easy for you to go through the skills you have. Like you can now try to merge it together with the new area you want to go. So even the professor self will not be able to, if he's going to digress from that PowerPoint slide, it's still going to be be based on what you've presented. So it's what we've actually been using, and it has been working. So I believe if you use that one, prepare a PowerPoint slide, your key strengths, put it there, right? And try to desist from the aspect that you are not really strong, that you can't really answer a lot of questions on. So that's your best shot.
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. Actually, that's what you can do. And don't forget that the skill you got from your previous education degree is a transmissible skill. It's a translated skill. You can bring it to the table of the new field you are going to, right? The skill is part of you. You bring it, right? Maybe you learn some instrument in the previous one, and this is a new field. And though I'm always advising people that try as much as possible not to be too far away from your background. Maybe, for instance, you read French. Now you want to go to biochemistry. There is no skill. I'm sorry. There may be skill, but there's no skill that will be so important that you can bring from from Yoruba language I studied to physics. Is so wide. But if you read chemistry, you want to go to physics, there's some skills that you can still bring in, but it's kind of difficult, but you can still manage it. So try to remember that your skills are transmissible. They are translated to other field you are going to. Yeah. So the next question says that aside September intake session, what other session is open for application? Yeah. We have semesters. There is fall semester, there is spring semester, there is winter semester, there is summer semester. But majorly schools accept during fall, followed by spring. For fall semester, that means that if you start now, you will be in the US next year, August. you'll be in America. If you start now, if you start this month, next month, deadline is December, January. You have heard that from the previous sessions, speakers. That is 4th semester. But if you want to come here next year, January, if you want to be here next year, January, that means you are coming for spring semester. The application for that one is almost closed. You got to be fast if you want to do that. Winter, people don't really admit in winter. If you admit in winter, they may not be funding, so I don't advise you for that. So yeah. Next one. What's the current cost of TOEFL? I think it's $195. Next one, the link to the WhatsApp group, it has been posted. Next one, say, thank you so much for the contribution to the quota, blah, blah, blah. May God remember your kindness, amen, and all the facilitators, God remember our kindness, okay. I want to take a step to start preparing for this application. This year, the thing is, all the information and steps are quite overwhelming. Yes, they're actually overwhelming. What's the simplest and easiest step I can take to kickstart? I've already listed the overview, just start from the beginning to the end. Next question. I got a self-sponsorship MS offer in UK. A lot of offers in UK. January 24, what will you advise? All I can design, all I want to do is to study in the US. All documents are available aside to Nigeria. Yeah, please start the process from the beginning of the overview to the end of the overview. Let me talk a little bit about UK. UK is good. It's quite fast. Your master's is 1 year. Before you know it, you are done. But most of them are not funded unless you get scholarship like Commonwealth scholarship, like Chevron scholarship, or other scholarships that you can talk about in UK. But UK can give you admission in quite 1 week. You get admission. It's very easy to get admission. Don't be carried away when you get admission in UK. Don't be carried away at all, please. Your focus is funding, because you can't be going and say I can't go and sell my father's family house to come to US or to come to UK. So I don't, why will I chase my parents away? No. So you got to make sure that you get funding for you to continue this thing. Get to US, start application to US and Canada, Australia. They are good places. Next one, please, sir, I came late. Cool. Can you do me a favor by summarizing the steps? Oh no, the steps are already in the PowerPoint and I will share it on the group. And the recording of this Zoom is on the group. You can have access to that. And at the end of the meeting, yeah. Thank you for a wonderful question. You really answered my questions so well. Oh, thank God for all the goodness. And thank you for all our facilitators. They have done wonderfully well. Some woke up 6 a.m. this morning to attend this meeting. It's a quite sacrificial thing from that part. And I really appreciate that. I thank them so much. So as I told you before at the beginning of this meeting, that the strategy is that we turn mentees to mentors. So I pray that all of you in this group today that attend our meeting will become a mentor with PSA as time goes on. Thank you so much for coming. And this meeting is recorded. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of our facilitators on the group. But please don't ask people to do your application for you. I beg. Now beg, I beg. Please don't have people to do your application for you because people are so busy. Today is Saturday. That's why we are available, and we have passion for everybody to be here. And I want you to get the passion also, so I can also help others, right? As you are here, as you are coming here, you also be a mentor to people to help you get. I pray that God may keep blessing you. Thank you so much. Mr. Lamide, I really appreciate your time. Ebenezer, I appreciate your time. Mr. Raphael, I appreciate your time. Mr. Elisha, Mr. Judith, everybody, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If you have any other question, please on the group, and we attend to them as soon as possible. Don't forget, I like people that are very active. I don't like people that are passive. I will ask them to do something, I do not do it. I don't like it. So that's my principle. Thanks. Bye. Do you have anybody have anything to say again? You can unmute yourself and say it.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Mr. Kayode, for your time. Thank you for convening this meeting. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you to all the facilitators for creating time to teach us. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy Kayode. God bless you.
Daddy, calling daddy, daddy. Oh my God, you are the.
All right, thanks, Mr.
Yeah.
Kayode. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Kende. You are small boy, you are just growing up.
You are big daddy.
Thank you, Mr. Kayode. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.